Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are live from Paris, France. This is the Esports World Cup 2026. For the next 10 days, 20 teams are gonna battle it out for glory. They're gonna battle for legacy, and they're gonna battle to be crowned the champions of our tournament. This is Honor of Kings, the Kings World Cup 2026, the premier international tournament of our game. I'm your host for these days, Isaac Peña. Welcome to day one. Welcome to the play-ins. Of course, I cannot do this by myself. With you, the voices that you love to hear, and the brains that are gonna make sense out of everything that is gonna happen the next days. Sagi, Kindovu, how are you, lads?
Well, guys, for sure, it's been a long while since I last seen your handsome, muscular face on the broadcast here. And, it's been a full year, and we are back again once again in the Esports World Cup. This time around, we are in Paris, France, of all places here. So stoked to be here, excited to be here, Kin. It's been a while, right?
Yes, it is. And of course, let me introduce myself. It's your favorite kind of tofu, Kindofu. And we're going to have a lot of fun today because this is day number one. We are in the play-ins, and there's a lot of things that we want to talk about today.
Well, the first thing that we need to talk about is Paris, right? Like, it's been such a lovely city to be in. I am actually in love with the streets, in love with the people. It's been super nice just to kind of just have that change. Our first time here in Europe, isn't it?
For me, it's definitely the food. I had some escargot, I had some of the pastries here. Love it, amazing. For me, I'm a foodie. I go to every city. It's food. And the monuments, we went to the Eiffel Tower the other day, right?
We did.
Yeah, and you know what? During this entire process, I was the throwaway bin, right? So they ordered a lot of food, and I got to try every single dish, not because I wanted to, but because they couldn't finish their food. So I am, tanking all of the weight for them, and my body is using all the energy, so I'm going to throw that energy into the broadcast today. Hopefully you see the same kind of energy from the teams playing.
And we're gonna have that energy coming in for all the teams, right? Like, it's gonna be such a lovely tournament. We're gonna have the top of the top, the best teams in our game that are gonna come here and they're gonna try to put their hands on that trophy.
You know what? If you want to talk about a trophy, you gotta first pace yourself slowly, right? Because we are currently at the play-ins, like what Kin mentioned just now, where only 2 teams out of each group make it into the group stage, right? And it's in a BO3 format that we will see later on. So it's gonna be really difficult, especially we're in a specific patch that is never before seen.
Exactly, and the reason is because this time we have a great collaboration going on. Actually, we have a few, right? There's new skins, new badges, new heroes to talk about, but we'll jump into that a little bit later. For now, I'm just wondering, right? International competition, is this gonna shake up some emotions? Do we have the awareness that, look, this is the big stage now?
I mean, for me, right? Is this the big stage? It's confirmed the big stage here. Like, I think if you think of it from a MOBA perspective, right, especially for Honor of Kings, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the few times that you're actually having an event in Europe instead of Southeast Asia or Asia. So, is it a big tournament? Yes, and it also means a lot to not only the publishers but also the players.
Yes, because for a lot of them, this might be their first time in Paris. Will it be the last? We don't know yet, right? So whatever the situation is, they have to make this moment last as long as possible. And in order to do that, you just have to take 2 wins. It doesn't have to be in a row. Easier said than done, but 2 wins. That's the number we're looking for.
Can you get 2 wins in your rank games?
You know what? I have not been able to. It's been a difficult process for me. I have done charity in that sense, where I've given my stars to the members of the public. I'm sure you guys enjoy it. There's of course banter in between. They're asking, "Yo, are you the caster? Thank you for your star." I'm like, okay, have it. It's a gift. It's a gift.
I mean, it's like, now you don't know me at first, but like, hey, you're that guy on broadcast that you see. It's like, oh, free star? Oh, now I know you, because free is always good, like all Holler likes to say.
But that's not the only thing that's free. If you have free time, I want you to go into the honor pass of the game, because this boy right here needs your help. He needs you to put the votes in. Now, the next guy that needs your help is Holler, but he's not here, so I'm not going to help him out.
We don't care about him.
Yeah, we don't care about him. You know what? He will have his time to shine. I want him to shine as much as possible.
You know what? Everyone needs to shine right over here. And we have some very big news coming in from the EWC stage, ladies and gentlemen. What about we go and take a look at that? Honor of Kings, the titles, Gamescom 2026. The time is going to be on August the 26th all the way to August 30th of this 2026. It is going to be full on new content, new games, new everything. I am really counting the days too for us to make it right over there. Gamescom 2026 on Call Message Hall 81A 051 and B050.
I mean, I saw some of the clips just now that's actually on the screen, like
Yeah.
the gameplay, the titles. And for me, I'm a person that likes to have high graphics on Ultra and everything. And that is exactly something that I want to tap into once it gets
course.
released.
Like
Okay.
the quality in there was insane, wasn't it?
It was, and I really hope my gadgets and devices can handle that pressure because it looks beautiful. And of course, there's like so many different games you can try, different game modes, different tasks to complete. And you know what? If you are a achiever gamer where you have to have every trophy, every achievement, this is the event to go for because you get to have a preview of what's to come. You can make your plans and then you can take a look at what do you want to take as step number 1 into probably step 10,000. I don't know.
All right. So what about if we just take 2 steps back and we go and start thinking about like the format or KWC 2026? Because this is going to shape the path that every single team is going to be taken on. We start with the play-ins, we move into the group stages, and then we finish with the playoffs.
Well, I think this is a very interesting format, right? Because you are not directly jumping into the group stage and then no one knows what's the actual meta in the tournament. Yes, scrims is scrims, like how you like to say it.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to tournament games, patch can change according to what actually works in the tournament setting. So looking at play-ins here, later on we'll check out some of the teams that's actually slotted into this specific format where you get to see a glimpse of what are the heroes that are available later on in the play-ins and playoff stage.
And one of the interesting things is that we're going to have best of 3s, the same as we're going to have best of 7s in every different part of here, right? Like for today, we're going to have play-ins, so we're going to have only best of 3s. But as we make it into the playoffs and the best of 7s come in, different heroes are going to jump in.
So
Well,
let's-
let's look at tournament bracket, the Group A, Kin.
All right, Group A, this is going to be Buriram United Esports going up against Team Flash. After that, we have S8UL Esports going up against Influence Rage. This is going to be a very important matchup. Now, we talked about best of 3s. You don't have to win 1 only, you have to win 2. But you also get the same in reverse. If you lose, there is a second chance for you.
And talking about a second chance, you gotta check out the second grouping here coming in for our play-in stage here. Not to put any hate or slander towards Group A, we look at Group B, these teams are not to be joked around because these are very, very high achievement teams coming in from the international stage. We have Noxian Red Force going up against OG Esports, and then for the second half of the series, we have Deep Cross Gaming going up against Blacklist International.
So it's going to be a difficult day for these 8 teams here because there are only 2 slots in each group. You need to make it work and you have to do it really quickly. Okay, maybe not too quickly, right? The game can go on as long as it needs to, but the draft is so important.
Yeah, talking about the draft, that's just the interesting thing, right? Especially when you talk about draft, there is a lot more new heroes compared to where we've seen back in, I think, Asian Games qualifiers and also the pro leagues of respective regions here. It has been quite a while now, and those heroes might not be the same ones as we've seen currently in the current patch.
No, but this is why I love, because, as a caster for HOK, I probably stand on a different boat, right? Everyone is like, this is the meta, this is the hero, this is the way to play the game. But no, now there's new heroes, so there's no fixed meta just yet. The pro players will show us those fixed metas, but we get to explore, we get to be creative. That's the main part.
It is going to be just such a great journey what we're going to be having the next days. We will have the opportunity to see the top players showing to us how this game is supposed to be played like, right? Like we will start today with the play-ins, which is actually a really interesting stage, right? Like we're going to have teams trying to make it through. And make it through is going to be these first 2 teams in our match number 1, Buriram United Esports against Team Flash.
And the interesting about these 2 specific teams, they come from AOV. And for Buriram, they come from RPL, and for Team Flash, they come from AOG. And then, when we talk about AOV, there's also heroes that we mentioned about new ones coming into Honor of Kings, where we have the heroes such as Florentino, Annette, and also Lorian, which may give them a competitive edge in this specific best of 3 against each other.
You say may, I say they definitely will. Buriram United Esports coming into the stadium here. They are going to be so fantastic at bringing the flavor of AOG into KWC this year.
And for me, especially, right, when you talk about these specific heroes, I've talked to some of these players, right? Clash laners, they love Florentino for how specific 1v1 scenario this hero is. Super strong in laning phase, super good in that 1v1, good in taking down tanks, good in singling out squishies, but team fighting is a bit of an issue for that hero. You need to find the proper angle here. And I believe some of these Clash laners coming from AOV, they have a lot of experience in that specific department.
To give you a little bit of the background, if you do not know who Buriram United Esports is, they are a household name from the country of Thailand. And this is one strong organization, so you need to watch out for them. But their opponents, of course, are no slouches as well.
Team Flash coming in from AOG, right? They've been one of the only teams coming in from their own region that have completed their own Grand Slam in their respective pro leagues. And coming in as a roster in towards KWC, you can't count them out. Because, like, yes, you check back on my tier list rating, I put them sorta low, my bad, but I think it's all speculation from my side, right? If I could say every single win going to one specific team, I'm not gonna be a caster, I'm gonna be a prophet.
Prophet Sagi, that's a nice name. That's what I would like to hear as well. But like you said, this is at this point still a guessing game, right? We don't know what they're going to bring to the table. We've heard about some of the stories behind the scenes about the teams, their trainings, the heroes that they like to use. We've seen them play in their own home regions. But right now, they're bringing the kingdom to an international stage where, you know, the stakes are a lot higher, prize pools are a lot bigger as well, but the challenge is even higher as well.
For me specifically, right, if we were to look at both of these AOV teams coming in towards Honor of Kings, yes, they have very good mastery on the side of the AOV heroes, like we mentioned that the three heroes, the Florentino, Anan, and also Lorien. But my worry is the game is slightly different in terms of objective, in terms of like map movement, timers, how you pick your fights. How do they adjust themselves towards this? Have they adjusted, or are they going to bring their own special flavor coming in from AOV into HOK?
I think it's the same for any game, or even if you're playing a different sport, right? There's a foundation for how you want to play the game. While the timers may be slightly different, the foundational knowledge, rotation, taking the correct fights, making sure you get the objectives, taking turrets, making sure you know how to bait team fights, or even just to run away or fight at the right time. These are the core mechanics you need to have regardless of what game you're coming from. So this is something that both teams have already shown us, and it's wonderful.
These two teams come in with a different background, right? Like they have different understanding of the game. We have already talked a little bit about that, like how the timings are going to be different, how the strategies are going to be different. Is that going to be a challenge for them, or could actually give them the edge that they need?
I feel like it brings diversity, right? Where we've seen some of the global teams, they have the specific playstyle that copies or mimics the KPL or MKL style. Now, where AOV comes in, I feel from what I've seen in their games from their respective pro leagues, they are much more aggressive. They like to team fight early for those early game objectives. It's not those small skirmishes, tip and tag, get a flash and burn out. No, they go all in.
But I'm actually a little bit worried about that, because in our experience in HOK, we understand that when you are very aggressive at the beginning, it's a win or take, right? Like if you win and then you can actually capitalize from that, it's going to be a gigantic bag for you. But if you go in for the aggression, you try to start the scrimmages, and then you lose it, then it's very difficult to turn around, Ken.
But this is what I like about the teams. If you don't take the risk, you don't get the reward.
Yeah.
And this is the specialty of AOV teams. They are well versed in that level 1 invade, and it normally becomes a 4-1 composition where, you know what, they have learned, let's not contest that level 1 invasion. They will actually go for a mirror invasion as well. So we might see this coming in from the AOV teams in the early parts of the game. My curiosity is, whoever survives this first gauntlet round, they will be playing against an Honor of Kings team. So does that change the way they play?
All right, before we actually just start thinking and jumping into the game, I want to talk a little bit more about the diversity that different heroes could actually bring into this game, right? Like we have 4 different heroes that they come in from AOV that we're gonna have in our patch right now. And I'm totally sure that people at home would like to know a little bit more about their characteristics.
Okay, so everyone calls me kind of you, so I'm gonna take half of the share. I'm gonna start with Butterfly and Annette. So Butterfly, you guys already know, right? Big issues in a team fight if you lose, because once she gets an assist or a kill, her ultimate resets, her damage reduction goes insane. You can continue the team fight. Annette, one of the newer heroes coming in, very great anti-CC abilities, able to push and create damage in the laning phase itself with her first and second skill to push it out and so on and so forth. So very good start. And it might be a prio pick here.
I definitely have to agree, right? Especially for the side of Annette. I call it the aggressive Zhuangzi, where you can actually use your ultimate to go for those aggressive engages here, which is a sort of a mix where we have Zhuangzi and Yuhuan in a single kit. And then you talk about other priorities here. You have Florentino. This hero, we've talked about it. Favorited by most of the Clash names here coming in towards this tournament. Insane 1v1, almost has no natural counter in the Clash name aside from potential lane swaps, which we may be seeing more from the AoV Clash names later on. And then the final one, I feel like Lorien actually has one of the highest priority here coming in for this specific game.
More different heroes that they're going to amplify the variety right over here. But well, ladies and gentlemen, we are jumping into the ban and pick. This is going to be an amazing game. This is going to be our match number 1 of KWC 2026. The whole journey is going to start right over here. On one side, we're going to have Buriram United Esports. On the other side, we're going to have Team Flash. You do not want to hear it from me. I'm totally sure that you want to hear it from the best of the best. Holler, Blam, take it from here, lads.
Thank you so much, Isaac. As we go into draft number 1, of course, game number 1, this is an interesting one because if we're looking at this from both sides, Buriram and Flash, yes, they're AoV squads, but are they ready on the international stage to play Honor of Kings? We're going to find out right now.
I mean, we can only really hope so here, Hall. We do obviously see the draft come underway right now. And you were speaking about obviously being AoV, both of these two teams, and they select a hero that's not quite on that game right now. We're going for Pei, which is obviously a prio pick for a lot of the Honor of Kings teams.
Yes, very important to set the tone. You're talking about a best of 3. Everything wants to be fast, furious, and of course in your face. Pei does all of those, those traits.
Ooh, okay, so we get a bit of Lorien action in our first match of the day. This is going to be some fantastic setup. Obviously, these are the teams that know how this hero works, right? We have obviously great backline access here. We are able to use him from the backline, abuse him, and just throw those orbs everywhere. The setup for his ultimate has unlimitless creativity with this hero.
Yeah, and we've talked time and time again about how Lorien would set the tone in terms of the meta.
Yeah.
Most teams have not really been picking it too much. When it does come out, it does definitely dominates.
Yes.
But now with an AoV team piloting this hero, it's going to be next level, right?
It is going to be next level, but we do need some serious frontline, right? That's definitely what's lacking here onto the side of Buriram United. We need to see a support tank, maybe potentially the Byron here into the Clash lane, not quite being taken out just yet for the side of either Flash or Brew. But if we look over to the side of Flash, we are looking at late game. We have the front line here, Zhang Fei being one of those big picks, those big heroes into the support lane. But it looks like Flash have done their homework. They banned out the Byron in that last phase.
Very much a traditional type of draft. The Zhao is a little bit more of a niche pick in that sense, but it does actually set up in terms of that, the stuns, especially coming from that mid lane. If we're looking at the Buriram United lineup, this is a tried and true. They got damage galore. Yes, they're kind of on the squishier side, but they can shore that up with, of course, these last 2 picks.
I mean, the Xiao Qiao complements Lung, right? Like, obviously, Lung, mid-range hero. Xiao Qiao has that great poke potential that you're able to throw and scale into the late game. Charlotte, once again, a little bit more late game assurance into this top side of the map. So really here, what we've seen from Buriram United is that they really want to finish this game early as possible. They don't want to allow Charlotte to scale, Lung to scale.
Oh man, the Miyue as well as the Liam Po, both setting it up, again, a lot about the split push. If we were talking about some sort of speed in a best of 3, this is really going to dictate tempo here.
Oh, a lot of speed, a lot of split push potential, like you were saying there, Hall. The top side of the map is looking feisty, but even more feisty, it's going to be the butterfly pickup here. Game number 1, we are already starting to see these merge heroes changing the meta for these two teams.
Yeah, very interesting last pick. I mean, with the butterfly, we don't see it too much in terms of like the traditional Honor of Kings esports, and this is why it's a giant shakeup. You have new teams that have a very new perspective in terms of what they want to bring, but now with both of these two teams locked in, who are you giving the edge to?
I mean, like I said earlier, right, obviously, Buriram United, we need to kind of try and see a little bit more of an earlier game victory here if we start to sort of scale into that kind of like 12, 15-minute mark. And if bot side of the map for the side of Team Flash has a doozy and is able to scale up in terms of gold, it could be trouble.
Yeah, definitely could be trouble. But I mean, going into this one, I love the lineup of the Buriram United.
Yes.
This is going to be an interesting one because, again, the Lorien, to me, are they able to dominate it, or is Team Flash, they know how this hero plays, they're going to be able to counter?
I mean, both of these teams know how it plays, right? They are from, obviously, Arena of Valor, both from their respective regions as well. So Lorien pick up here for me. I feel like maybe for these three teams, especially obviously Deep Cross Gaming that we'll obviously get into later on in the day, those are the kind of heroes we're going to expect to see Prio.
Yes, definitely so. And now with the teams kind of loaded up, good to go, I mean, there's got to be a little bit of nerves, right?
Yes.
First game in the entire EWC 2026 for Honor of Kings. It's a giant honor, and to have both of these squads, I mean, dare I say, prediction-wise, one of the AOV teams will win this series?
I mean, that's a fair prediction to make, right? Like, that's very good odds. But you saw at the pit of the Overlord there, it was definitely scaling more towards Buriram United in this game number one. But like Horler says, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting into the setup of EWC, KWC 2026 right here with these two Titans.
Yeah, definitely two Titans here. And I think that the one for me, I'm definitely more familiar with the Team Flash side because of the fact that we saw them at the Asia Games qualifier. Spoiler alert, they did qualify, but they did have a player that's not on this roster right now, who's Lingvan, who's actually part of another team in PKL. But this is a squad that's did a little bit of a roster shakeup, and this is a squad, again, that have learned their lessons, and they were able to basically eat into that main event at the Asian Games.
Yeah, speaking of eating in, both minion waves, bot side of the map have been eaten into here between Buriram United and Team Flash. We're looking to just get those kind of like neutral points here. I feel like the early game for me between these two teams that we are seeing the adaptation into HOK is getting those early points.
Yes, definitely about those early points here. But, I mean, for me, the problem is going to be this Miyue. Like, how is it going to just, like, is it going to take over? Obviously, it's a pain to deal with in that terms of that clash lane because you have that range advantage. And now it's going to be up to Ya, who's the latest addition to this Team Flash lineup. Is he able to kind of overcome the range differential?
I think the obvious question to his name is, Ya? Able to do it.
Yeah.
Can we see him do it? But I mean, the thing for me is obviously looking at little boys here on Miyue, that umbral moon, right? Like if you are able to time that correctly, you are able to dodge the Charlotte ultimate.
Yes, and I mean, if he's able to do that, that's what it's going to come back to, right? Is Ya able to kind of find that perfect moment to go into that team fight? But they're going in now.
Okay, we did see a big teleport play there from Nunu. Obviously, quite aggressive, but we did see him capture between two sides of the side of Flash and able to escape. This really just shows you the viability of Lorien.
Yes, and another player to kind of highlight here is Nunu, right? On the side of Buriram United. Yep. He is an absolute beast in the mid lane. He's incredibly elusive. And as you saw there with the Lorien, he was able to kind of just dash around, always stays, make sure that his life total is quite high.
Yeah, someone's life total is not quite high as Ryan, but he does have the ultimate that he doesn't want to get forced out yet. The Infinite Vastness is staying in check. He really wants to hold on to that around about that 4-minute mark, right? If you eliminate Infinite Vastness here from Aoin, from Reen here into this team fight, into this neutral objective, it makes it a little bit harder for the marksman to be a bit more viable.
Incredibly patient by Ren, right? Being able to just hold that Infinite Vastness, and he didn't want to hit that ejection seat because he knows that he needs it come the team fight. We're starting to get to the point where it's, 3 minutes in, getting to that 4-minute mark. You don't want to waste that ult and just kind of use it willy-nilly, if you will.
Interesting roams here from Xiao Qiao as well, right? Mid lane of Flash, looking to be very proactive here, looking to actually get a lot of gold funneled into herself. Because, I mean, if we look at the side of Team Flash as well, there's so much carry potential here, but it looks like they're all putting into the Xiao Qiao.
Yeah, it really comes back to who can get that farm. Yeah. Everyone on both sides, kind of on the squishier side, but they're going in.
They are trying to go in. I think Taos is kind of playing a little bit of pillow talk, man. He's like, you know what? I'm going in. I'm going to try and bait as many skills as possible. Nothing to be worried about here. He is the tank of Buriram United.
What? When 3 people jump you, you're talking pillow talk at this point?
Hey, it depends on like how you gauge that. Some people can take a little bit more than others, you know?
All right, understood on this one. But what I like about Buriram right now, they're getting a little bit more in terms of value. The rotations, I mean, they're up about 1K, and it's all about those little wins. The gold sharing has been on point, especially with Valdez here.
Yeah, definitely towards Buriram United, as you said there. Obviously, 1K gold lead so far. We are starting to see kind of like become a little bit less onto the side of Team Flash here, but most importantly, neutral objectives are up. Yeah, is looking to get taken down. Top side of the map here, so first blood going over to the side of Brim United, and they do lose out on that all-important Tyrant.
Oh, he was able to dark transfer, got that first blood so that the tower didn't do much. And it was a bit of a fight in terms of that Tyrant, right? So it was like, okay, we're going to give up a little bit of space. We're going to give up first blood, but we're going to pick up the Tyrant ourselves. So again, all in all, not the worst thing for either of the squads here.
Not the worst thing, but it could be setting the pace, you know? Definitely losing that Tyrant, especially losing a Tyrant to a team that is a late game composition here. It's just going to enhance their early game. And speaking of enhancements, we are seeing that shifted up here to Brim United, able to get that T1 turret for themselves.
Yeah, Tao's there was actually going for the solo play. I've done this as a roam myself, where you're like, I see two people, I'm gonna get my Tremor Smash, get it on, and I got a two-man stun, but then there was no follow-up, so you're like, oh crap, now I have no damage, gotta get out.
So what you're telling me here is you're blaming your teammates for your impeccable choices in HOK.
Yes, and so if I win, we move on. If I lose, I hit that report button at least 4 times.
There we go. We've got Horless insight to his ranked games, but top side of the map taking a lot of pressure here for the side of Team Flash, and definitely pressure is something you want to be eliminating here, or at least kind of trying to blunder if you are Team Flash, because you are behind around about 2.5k gold as well, and it's not looking too good, especially Charlotte here. Yeah, may not be able to get to that late game.
I don't think so. I mean, they're kind of suffocating right now. BRU is doing a great job of ensuring that they're using that range advantage to the maximum. Tremor Smash.
Oh, okay. Tremor Smash connected onto 2 here, but it's going to be the kind of assault onto the T1, but the assault doesn't stop there. We force out the Infinite Fasteners, so we are seeing no members of Team Flash fall, but we're seeing turrets fall left, right, and center.
Oh, so smart by BRU, right? I mean, Taos, that Tremor Smash, yeah, it was only 2, and they didn't get any kills, but it was all space created because they were trying to focus down that tower, and they were able to converge at the right time. The timing of this team has been impeccable thus far.
Very good, very good. Obviously, pacing, roaming, the way they have been shifting through these lanes, definitely something that Team Flash maybe want to adapt in here, but it's going to be the Unbridled Outburst that saves Tofu, and actually does nothing here for a follow-up for Licky.
Yeah, Tofu just hanging on by like the very, very end, ensuring that he gets that ult off, has that huge hero boost. I mean, I like this Tofu way better than the other Tofu on desk.
Oh, he's not your kind of favorite kind of Tofu. Okay, we are having shots fired. I mean, Kin did obviously point you out earlier, so I feel like that one's a fair shot, you know?
Yeah, of course. Payback. I was going to get back at him at some point, but BRU are on a roll as they take the mid T1. More space, more of this map control by BRU.
Yeah, very troublesome situation for Team Flash to be in. They are behind. They are a late game comp. They are losing these turrets. So what naturally happens when you lose turrets? You start to lose your jungle, as well, as we've already seen at this moment in time. Brim United is able to actually have free access to that Azure Golem.
Yeah, this draft by BRU is just on point, right? Everything that they want to do is like, we're all in, we're going early game, we're going fast, we have so much damage, and try to catch us. It's been impossible for Flash. They've done nothing thus far to make a sort of dent into this lead.
Yeah, there's been no real reactive gameplay, like you were saying, right? Like, there's no kind of mirroring, there's no kind of lane play top side of the map whilst they try and rush down bot side here. It just seems to be like, what can we get, but at what cost? Trying to limit that kind of like deficit here.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to get some sort of pick off at this point. You're looking, I mean, this net worth lead is starting to grow. It's starting to compound. It's becoming very difficult for them to kind of make a dent into. But BRU, again, look at this full court press. How are you supposed to able to find any sort of space across this map?
You know, the crazy thing is, we've got 1 kill on the board.
Yeah. 1
kill on the board, but so much influence onto the Gorge itself. Turret's taken down. T3 already taking a bit of a battering at the top side of the map there. And T2, the final one in mid, falls here for the side of Team Flash, which is just going to prove that problem even more.
Yeah, so if there were any sort of questions of how BRU would be in terms of preparation, all of that, let's find out.
Oh, okay, Tremor Smash, that was very tasty there. No flash used in sight. He still has a means to get out, but Julius into the back line, takes down Baldus, but now Licky gets his remains with a double kill here for the side of Brim United, but there has been blood traded. Flash are looking for a way to maintain their base.
Yeah, very good play, right? Being able to take down Valdez was absolutely huge for them because Valdez was starting to get out of control. Yep. Yeah, he didn't have a whole lot of kills, but in terms of that net worth, he's able to melt towers and to utilize all of the space that was given to him. And now on this other side, look at how BRU just bouncing back. They're going to just take this Tyrant for free.
They take the Tyrant for free here, so really Yes, we get a good team fight here from Team Flash. They are able to trade like, what, 3-2. Julius, obviously, is going to be one of the scapegoats within that one. But I feel like somebody has to be at this point, right? Someone has to take the charge, lead the cavalry, and try and get some kills. As you've seen here in this replay, Julius just finds that window of opportunity, gets a takedown there, but the Splendor onto Nunu saves himself, but then it only delays the inevitable there as we see that Ring gets that kill. So really good play here from Team Flash just to keep themselves in this game number 1.
Yeah, definitely. And Rin, it was almost like personal. He wanted to make sure that he took down Nunu. He was going all the way on the outskirts to ensure that he gets that pick off, because Nunu and Valdez, those are the guys that need to die before they can even get to potentially any other member of this, BRU lineup here.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. Because obviously the backline potential here for Nunu on this Lorien is absolutely nutty. And you look at, obviously, the gold difference here as well from the mid lane. It's not stark difference. It's not day and night, around about 500 gold difference. So in terms of actually these mid laners taking priority into the resources, it's not a lot, but taking those blows is going to be Taos. I think he's taking a little bit too much damage here, but it is going to be Julius looking for the escape here on the butterfly. He's able to get out, and another takedown onto Little Boys. Team Flash are looking for more blood. They're looking for more kills. They're looking to try and stay into this game because they're now approaching that late game territory, which this can actually flip for them.
Yeah, now, nice little Trevor smash. Finding Rin, he's not able to get on his dragon. 3-man stun, and they continue to go, and they're taking them all down. Julius is the only one, and he's going to run back into the hills.
And that's a bit of crispy tofu right there, right? Like, he was absolutely shocked by lightning there by Nunu. We do see the top side of the map with that minion wave looking very promising here for Barium United. We have Leaky, Voldas, as well as Taos. Nunu here as well. The cavalry is here, boys, but not for the side of Team Flash. They still have 6 seconds till the Lung, till the Charlotte gets online. Julius does fall, and game 1 goes to Barium United.
What a clean game. That's an absolutely a monster game to set things up in terms of the tone here.
Absolutely. Obviously, that's going to be the great game. We are waiting here to see what the experts have to say from this first game of KWC 2026. Take it away.
What a way to start the tournament. Buriram United Esports came in, guns blazing, come in, take the first match, and they know right now that with game 1 done, they just need one more game, and they're gonna be making it into the upper bracket finals.
Really dominating way that they actually won, where it was not really about team fights, but a chain of effects that we can see later on in the replay here. It was like, okay, Julius from Team Flash, he got the Tyrant in the 4th minute mark, but Little Boys and also the side of Valdez, they went into the clash and attacked the side of Gil on that Charlotte, got that solo kill, and then converted into towers, buffs, objectives, and then it just kept snowballing the same way. And if we were to look into Team Flash that game, I think Tofu on the Zhang Fei, he only had like, what, 3 Unbridled Outbursts towards the end of the game?
What was very interesting for me in this whole thing is just how we had been talking about, like, how are they going to just take that understanding from their own game and just apply it into this patch, apply it into this meta. It was just so lovely to see how they took the aggression that we talk about and they just turned it into exactly what they needed. Resources, turrets, and at the end, the crystal.
I mean, if you take a look at the goal distribution throughout the side of Buriram United Esports, this is what you want to see, right? The jungler having the top farm. He's able to invade into the jungles, make sure that the rest of the team also has options to explore in terms of taking turrets, taking fights. And the one thing I want to point out, we were talking about this just now off stage. Nunu on this Lorien.
Oh my.
Guys, you have to ban Lorien, man. The ultimate, the setup, the stun, there was no way like his counterpart, Rin, couldn't even take flight with the Lung.
I've been talking to the KPL casters in all these days, and they've been saying that Lorien is going to be one of the meta picks in this whole tournament. And we just saw it over here in game 1. It is going to be the one hero that we're going to have to keep our eyes on.
I think especially, right, where it excels in a few things. I think the Lorien pick coming in from the side of Buriram was actually really smart, where you're thinking on the side of Team Flash. Okay, you have Xiao Qiao, you have like Aoyin, both very mid to close range heroes here. And then you have a Lorien where he's just like throwing his like balls left and right, that's just zapping you from afar, setting you up for big plays, where the range advantage is already earned by the side of Buriram, where they already have that team fight edge, where you don't need to like go for those big team fights. Poke, rotate, invade. That's what they did all game prior to that 10-minute mark.
Just a piggyback right on that topic, because it's very interesting that at 8 minutes of the game, they were already just knocking on the high ground turrets. Like it was just so interesting, just the way that with only one kill over there, they were already just pushing in just to go for the main objective.
It didn't feel like 8 minutes at all. It felt like, they have been farming for like 15, 16 minutes, right? The goal difference was so big. It was 5 minutes, a 5,000 goal lead in less than 7 minutes into the game. And that was a huge monument for the side of Buriram Esports because they did exactly what they were supposed to do, right? They took one kill, that singular kill transformed into 3, 6 outer turrets, jungle camps after jungle camps, and then, the wasted efforts from Tofu on that Zhang Fei, we counted, right? 3 unbridled outbursts, no return.
An amazing start for our KWC 2026. Buriram United Esports right now with a small lead that could take them into the upper bracket finals. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go for a short break, and when we come back, we're going to go with Game 2 or Match 1 of our KWC 2026.
हाय गाइस, गुड आफ्टरनून ऑल, वेलकम बैक। मैं थोड़ा सेटअप कर लेती हूँ फटाफट, फेस कैम स्ट्रीम चालू कर दूँगी। फिर मैं एक फेस कैम ऑन कर देते हैं और थोड़ा कुछ तो गिरा है, थोड़ा सा सेटअप कर लेते हैं। लाइक इट्स प्रीटी गुड ना, लाइट वाइट सब सही है। ओके, ये परफेक्ट गुड टू गो। चैट्स हम यहाँ पे ओपन कर देंगे हमारे, और हम यहाँ पे ठीक है। सो कुछ चेंजेस की नीड नहीं है, हमें रिंग्स की नीड है। we're wondering only, ठीक है। जब तक ब्रेक टाइम है तब तक बाकी का सेटअप कर लेती हूँ। गुड टू गो। यार वो किधर गया मेरा मेरा रुको, एक मिनट, मैं स्क्रीन वो कर रही हूँ। भी आ गए लोग।
discussing just now, which was, do the AOV teams that come into KWC, can they actually match the timings? Because the timings are a little bit earlier in their side of the world. But
Right,
down
that's
here,
right.
at the 4 minute, the moment it
I'm
was
good,
the
I'm
4 minute
good,
mark,
आप कैसे हो?
they were on it. Team Flash was on it.
Team
Yes, they got the
पे
first
आवाज़
one.
सही से
But
आ रहा
Buriram finished that story with the enhanced Tyrant. That was the more important one.
There are some little details that you can already start understanding from Buriram. Like they come in, they try to do the early aggression at the 3-minute marker, not even to try to get the kill from the long, but just to force the infinite vastness, as Blam just mentioned right over there, which could have actually just narrowed down their options for the 4-minute fight. These little details, gentlemen, it's exactly what we're here to pay attention. I want everyone at home just to be taking notes on that. It is not always about just going in there and trying to get the kills. It's actually just trying to force your opponents into the corner that you want them to be in.
And the way that they play out the draft is actually really amazing from my perspective. I like how they prioritized Nunu on the Lorien, which gave them so much advantage into the early picks on the Long, on the picks onto the Xiao Xiao, where there's range advantage to control that mid lane. And once that mid lane is controlled, you start to see fast rotations coming in from Valdez, going for jungle invades, going for side lane push. That's why I think at the 5th minute mark, the tier 2 in the top side, that's already gone.
Done. It was just if they would have come in here with a clear goal of just kind of just flattening down the whole court, because they came in with an excavator and just pushed through.
The Flash, they were not allowed to play their game at all, right? I understand the premise of the idea behind the draft. You want to get the big hits coming in, but they could not even get the first hit. They could not get that first kill.
Exactly. That's just the difficult part, right? Where you want to see how the draft actually plays out. I think coming in with a global ban pick structure here, both teams will still put priority on bans, especially on the Lorien and the Florentino here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an important choice, right? I think maybe you don't take the risk. You don't give the Lorien over to Team Flash, right? And Florentino is a must ban. It has to happen.
Well, Florentino is going to be an always ban right over there, and Lorien is going to be an always ban in there. It's going to open for so many different other heroes that we know that in this patch are going to be really strong. But well, Blam, Holler, this game number 1, what were your feelings, lads?
Actually, I was very impressed. I mean, go on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like Kim was saying, I took a sip of coffee and all of a sudden, I mean, my break's over already. Like, we're back into game number 2. I feel like Buriram United, it definitely had a clear, precise early game as their draft dictated. But like I was saying towards the end there, Team Flash, if they just had a little bit more pizzazz in the early to mid game, we could have seen a potential comeback a little bit better.
Yeah, I like the term pizzazz, but I think that was, I mean, they needed that a little bit like magic fingers and, some
Jazz
ways to
hands.
kind of, jazz hands, all of the above, because I think that was a little bit of a wake-up call for them, right? I think that they're like a little bit shocked. It seemed like the preparation was definitely there by BRU, because that draft and the way that they were able to play that composition was just so high level. It was able to just destroy them without really a thought.
It's as if they've done it before, right? Like they played those heroes to a T, but we're getting into draft here of game number 2. We are seeing that Mai Shiranui being picked up for Team Flash as their first prior pick onto the blue side here. But then we look over to Brew. We have Voldus going here for the Flowborn Marksman. We have the Zhang Fei switching hands here, but we do see the pickup of the Motsu as well as the Ogryn. So we have the already long range setup here from the Motsu into the support role. We have the Ogryn here to try and build up, scale up, and be that raid boss that we all know and love.
Yeah, so Team Flash here, the biggest piece is with this Mai. Again, it's about that tempo, setting it up from that mid lane. That was really lacking in the last one. A very passive, reactive lineup, and they got forced down because of the fact that BRU, very early game centric and very aggressive with the way that they were able to play, and that was why they were able to dominate.
Yeah, I like the Agudo here. Obviously, once again, we see Brew going for a little bit more of the same into the jungle. They just want fast pace. They want quick clear. They want to be able to give themselves into the lane, into taking that siege of the turret earlier on once again. But we look at Team Flash. Once you get to level 4, get a few items, definitely that's when we start to see the Mai Shiranui come online in terms of combos, in terms of knock up onto CC into the backline of Burium United, which is obviously going to be the Flowborn Marksman in this case, but it's going to take a little bit of time of Ogryn to actually scale up.
Yeah, and it's all about that space, right? You expect it from the Mai, and that's kind of what they're trying to set that up with, so that you have a very good mid game because your early game was set up. You have the moats here, we could potentially wombo combo off of somebody, and plus it's kind of looked at as a bit of a weaker counter to the Ogryn as well if you're able to Cannon Blast and slow it down. So you take that yourself, and now you can set things up.
Yeah, I mean, if we saw anything from Team Flash, obviously they do know how to get the pickoffs right. They do know how to orchestrate a bit of a comeback into a team fight that not necessarily they took the engage for. Like, they saw it, they rather than disengage, they thought, okay, bet, let's go blow for blow. And then they come back. So I do agree with your point there, Motsu being able to kind of set this up for either a pathway of Mai Shiranui or Ogryn in these team fights. But we are getting a little bit more sustained here onto the side of Burium United. We have that Hugh-1 that's going to be looking to go into that mid lane.
Yeah, it's a perfect counter pick here because, again, the Mai is about the fast, aggressive blow-up, right? The glass cannon style. But you have the Yuan, which is the polar opposite. You're going to be very sustaining. You're able to out-heal. As long as you're able to withstand that initial burst, you're going to be able to kind of even out-heal him. So this is a great pickup for now.
But the problem is, you say initial burst, we do have a secondary burst here, which is obviously going to be the Chicha. So we now have potential of, if it doesn't work the first time, we have Chicha come through with the damage. And they now actually have a sufficient front line. This is the thing that they didn't have in game number 1 for Team Flash, was a sufficient front line, but now they have the Byron, they have the Ogryn. I feel like this is definitely a comp here that could get Flash a 1 point onto the board.
Definitely, definitely. And I mean, it definitely makes a lot more sense. It's way more balanced. They shore up a lot of the weaknesses, and they have, you know, from early to late game, you're kind of set. My only concern is that the range, the Chicha kind of limited. You don't have as much, right? Yes, the Ogryn will be there, but once they're hitting that mid mark, everybody with that range is going to be super, vulnerable, right? And so that's where, BRU need to kind of play around that, dance, if you will.
Yeah. Speaking of dancing, obviously, like you said with the Chicha, you do kind of have to prep yourself before you go into a team fight, especially if you want to have that range. You got to stack up your passive, and then that's when obviously the burst potential does come through. Not quite as kind of like demand and go as the Mai Shiranui burst.
Yes, and as it looks like the players are about to load up into game 2. Must win, I say, right? Because if you're at the EWC, you lose 2 series, you are going home, unfortunately, from the play-ins. You don't have too much time to explore Paris, if you will.
I mean, depending on which airport they flew in, right? Obviously, there's an airport quite close by. Like, there is an airport quite close by. I made the mistake of flying in from CDG. Took me an hour to get here. I could have gone literally maybe 15 minutes max, but that's my bad preparation. So one can hope the Team Flash and Burium United have better preparation in this game number 2.
Yeah, and I think that for both of these squads, this draft looks a little bit more 50-50 to me, right? You don't see one that is skewed one way or the other, but this is going to be about those team fights. If BRU is able to win one, especially with the setup that they have, you have the Dharma Truth, the Zhangfei Umbrella Outburst, and then you win that team fight, you're going to just start losing towers because this Agudo is going to be a problem.
Yeah, there's a lot of crowd control. Absolutely. Crowd control, but I think the most scary thing is here, obviously, yes, we know that Ogryn can do a lot of damage, but can you kind of out-damage the sustainability that the side of Burium United have?
Yeah, it's all about this early game, and I love it the way the Team Flash are playing right now. This is what they did not do, and now they're going in. Valdez getting a little bit low himself, but he's going to lose the red buff to start things off. A bit of a disaster for BRU to start this.
A bit of a Flash, a mob dance here from the side of Team Flash. A bit of a change-up, I would have to say myself. Very well greeted, well needed in this one, right? Because like Hauler was saying literally moments ago, Team Flash didn't make these quick adaptations. It's looking very bad for them.
Not looking good. I mean, it's not over. It's still very early. We haven't even hit the 2-minute mark.
No.
But setting yourself up, those are the little wins that you need to really, compound your lead. And now BRU, they're going to do a little bit of pressure onto Hayduk as well.
Hayduk actually able to get out of there as well. We are seeing that the voting for this team looking to try and round this one out for a nice, comfortable 2-0 for themselves. But I feel like for me, what's going to have to take a difference here for this game number 2 is Flash trying to get some early game kills. Like you said, try and compound that effect in the early game, get it into the late game.
Yeah, they didn't get out their first kill for quite some time. I mean, BRU were playing flawlessly, the positioning, and now even putting pressure here, Hayduk is coming out worse for wear here.
Yeah, definitely taking too much damage for my liking as well. Obviously, as we see, quite a bit of a compounding effect going on anyway, right? Like, we are seeing everything coming into that mid lane. We're seeing, obviously, the Spike-tailed Beast being taken off the side here. The pigs on the for Burium United. So you can already see the action and consequence going into the gold lead.
But did you see how Team Flash, again, they were taking boars away.
Yes.
They're being aggressive, and this is exactly what you want to do, especially in a lineup that needs to spike in that mid game. If you're having a terrible early game, but you're going to have a rough time. So again, you want to be aggressive. You have the timer, and now with this Crimson Golem, it looks like it's going to be started here. Taos is looking to take that away, but Valdez gets the smite.
Valdez does get the smite there. I mean, it's kind of looking like here Julius has got squatters' rights into the enemy's jungle, right? Like, he's just constantly like, you know what? I got the timer. I've got the key to your property. I'm going in there. I'm stealing what I need, and you can't stop me. But fortunately there for Valdez, this time around, he was able to successfully steal back his Crimson Golem, which now I feel like is the moment in time where Valdez may be able to try and gain a little bit more momentum for himself.
Yes, it's all about momentum here. And if we're looking at both sides right now, net worth, neck and neck. This is what we wanted to have seen, especially with these AOV squads. We knew it was going to be competitive because they're coming in almost from the same footing, if you will.
Yeah, something to prove as well, right? Like, this is a different battleground.
Yes.
Like, this is not their home. They are here, and they are looking to make a name for themselves. And definitely, right, so we haven't seen them go up against any HOK teams yet with KWC, but only time will tell how well they do. But currently, just looking a bit for tit for tat, right? Just trying to basically have a bit of a calm before the storm, before those neutral objectives get online in around about 20 seconds.
Yes, we're almost there, but to the point of kind of, you know, letting everyone understand the situation here. If you win this, you have a potential to make the groups, right?
Yeah.
And now Tofu, it looks like Julius is looking to go in, path of passing on, he finds it with the Conductor of Souls. It's going to be dodged out by the Unending Sorrow, but they get the pushback with the Ruin Gem, and they find it, but Julius, Gate went in too far. Rin is going to be picked off as well. 2 members down, and BRU weather the storm, and they take 2 themselves.
I feel like that was kind of like a rin, like a chainsaw, right? But it wasn't aggressive enough for the side of Team Flash. He gets taken down. They don't bother going for the target. They're looking to make some claims, some monopoly on the Gorge.
Yeah, actually, it didn't seem like they were completely in sync with one another. Like, Julius was a little too far up, hits the Conductor of Souls, tried to go for 2, but by that point, it's kind of you're not in a great spot in terms of that positioning. You want that when the team fight is already happening, everybody is completely grouped, and they BRU just completely dodged it here.
I feel like that's just the counter-engage potential of the side of Burium United, right? Obviously, using that Mournful Sorrow there, just able to keep himself alive. Just meant that they dived in. They were in the Lion's Pit. I feel like Rim was probably, like you said, completely out of position there.
Yeah. I mean, the timing wasn't great. The way that they were going in, it was like one by one. They were kind of, you know, just putting themselves, you got to go in together. You got to be in sync. You got to have that coordination. And BRU, the way that they were able to dodge that, again, this is why they're looking to be an incredibly scary team here at the EWC.
Scary team here at KWC. Scary team here into the mid lane.
They find Tofu. They actually pick him off with an Umbrella Outburst, and BRU are going to be so happy with that.
Oh, absolutely. Happy and more, right? Obviously able to get a bit of damage onto the mid lane, create a bit of priority, just kind of give themselves a little bit more room to get a bit more reactive, right? Because that's what the problem was in that early game.
Yes.
They weren't able to react because they didn't count on Team Flash invading in the jungle.
Yeah, did not expect it, but now that net worth lead completely shifted in favor of BRU. This is a huge situation, and now the Overlord, that is going to stem a little bit of the bleeding for Flash.
I feel like I'm watching the stock market here with that gold, you know? Like, we saw in the early game, it was kind of fluttering up and down, but definitely put your money on Burium United here. But we are seeing a lot more Monopoly being taken away here from the side of Team Flash. It seems like a little bit of a rinse and repeat of game number 1, which is a problem here. It's just taken Brew a little bit more time to get into this position.
Perfect disengage. They had that vision, BRU that was, but Taos didn't have enough madness to get that ult off. So they were like, okay, we can't team fight. We need to get out of this. They lose nothing. They take what they can from the jungle on their way out. Very smart play, even when you're looking to just retreat.
Yeah, you are playing the offensive, but defensively, right? You don't want to kind of get too greedy here if you're Burium United. Once again, a very low kill game so far. 6 minutes in, 3 kills onto the board here. But that's not what's important. It's about creating that
nice
pressure
cannon blast.
bot side.
Oh, the Kachusin as well, but the Aerostorm just zoning them away. Team Flash, a good attempt, right? That's the kind of setup that you're looking for, but they actually find Taos sticking around a little bit. They have the cannon blast onto him, but they're not going to continue on. It looks like BRU, again, just dodging most of the attacks by Team Flash.
I think this is the beauty of obviously the Motsu, like we're saying in the draft, right? You're able to use that cannon blast from a very safe distance, disengage for your teammates, kind of almost like a second chance card, get out of jail.
And that's the biggest problem, right? I think that the way that they've been able to kind of set things up, but BRU, again, just dodging most of it. They're mitigating most of what he brings.
Yeah. Top side of the map is definitely not being mitigated here by the side of Flash with that minion wave coming through, but it is going to be answered here by Rin. I feel like Rin needs to be out of these team
The
fights.
Umbrella Outburst, it looks like it's going to connect. They tried to go on Pac. The Aerostorm is going to do some damage. They find Tofu, the nice little knock-up as well. They have a little bit of control. Yaw is knocked onto the shield. He too will fall. It looks like 2 members down from Team Flash.
Byron shouldn't be melting that quick, you know? Like, there is some serious net worth going into the damage carries here onto the side of Burium United. He fell too quick to flash in from Nunu, just driving them away, looking just to kind of just help themselves in their own jungle, pay back Team Flash from that early game play.
Licky's starting to become a little bit of a problem. Actually, the highest net worth on the squad right now with 5.7, 5.8, a little bit of a wash with Valdez. But Valdez has been able to get that wild growth. They've taken the mid T1, and it's all about that push from BRU's lineup.
Yeah, I think once again, we're just looking at Burium United are very comfortable with these junglers that kind of already set themselves up in level 4, right? They're not really relying on itemization, even though obviously Agudo, Furball gets that on-hit effect from the itemization here, depending on how you build. But it's all about just creating that momentum, able to create that early game desirability for yourself.
Yes, and it looks like Team Flash using that, all of that to kind of counter the movements, right? They need to push themselves. They're going to take the bottom T1. BRU not in position, but they're in your jungle. They're looting and pillaging everything.
It's kind of like knocking on your door, right? They're like, they are looking for repossessing your goods. Like, they was like, right, okay, you owe us money. You owe us that early game money that you stole from us. And we see here, Burium United are taking that away. T1, top side of the map, does get taken away here. Just see Nunu just creating that area of space, that area of safety for Burium United here with that long-range CC.
A lot of respect giving by Team Flash here. They've actually had to kind of retreat into the mid T2, which is going down. The Umbrella Outburst just zoning them away. Team Flash right now, they are caught left wanting, not able to find anything on BRU.
Team Flash, I mean, looking at where we are in terms of obviously their team comp, right? We see Rin not quite doing too well here. He's kind of having to be into the side lanes, looking to try and scrap any kind of resources he can get for himself, just to try and get that mid to late game activation here. And I feel like the same is the problem for Julius, right? We're looking at carries, we're looking at them having to... They need the gold, right?
Yes.
Like, that's the problem here.
I mean, he's trying, but there's no space. They're going in. Nice little revenge and finding him back, but is not able to get it. And Yo has that force field suppression. He's taking most of this. He's still Byron at the end of the day. He does survive.
The vibes this time. Obviously,
Yes.
last time we saw him, he was literally cut through like a hot knife through butter. But this time around, he's definitely looking a little bit more tankier now. But we do have to keep obviously an eye on obviously common skills, right? Because we know that High Duck is not going to be making those engages because they don't have those flashes on.
Does not, but they have the Cannon Blast, and with that Aerostorm zoning them away, Tofu's gonna just have to Peacebringer on back. But the way that they're able to kind of, mitigate, dodge things around, the BRU just playing with their food, if you will, as they start the Tyrant here.
Tyrant, 10-minute Tyrant being started here. Hauler, can they make a clear engage here? Path of Passing does come
Julius,
through.
he wants to go for this one, cannot give this one, but he gets control, he gets knocked down over the wall, it doesn't even matter, and they take the Tyrant. BRU are starting to roll.
They are rolling. I mean, they need to, right? Baldus, that's one of his main things within his kit. He needs to roll about, get across the gorge pretty quickly, but like you said, snowball effect here. Tyrant takedown. T2 takedown into the mid lane, just really open up the base here of Team Flash.
They're able to just slow roll it, right? I mean, you have that Agudo. This is a huge problem right now.
Yep.
Now, I mean, this is a lineup, Team Flash that needs that mid game. They have not even achieved it. Oh, I mean, timing-wise, we're there, but their net worth is not there, so they're not able to overcome this huge net worth differential of 6K.
Correct. They're not scaling correctly with time,
Correct.
right? They are literally just trying to kind of like stem the bleeding at this point. They have to just make sure that they're playing a good defense. Obviously, yeah, they do have the T2 top side of the map there, so they could kind of try and play around that, like try and get pressure onto Burium United's top side of the map, the Clash lane there, and then try and maybe go for the Overlord, because it seems like neither of these teams are going to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, the positioning is flawless. They haven't lost a single member. The way that they're able to, again, they slow siege, they see numbers, and then they're like, okay, we have an advantage, let's go. And they take things out. They take all of the space that's given to them, and BRU would get another tower in that top lane.
They are looking to try and get that T3, but I mean, nice pressure here down bot side. This is going to correlate to obviously the Shadow Overlord if you want to go for
It
it.
defines it, but Liggy's going to be on back. They've already taken the top T3. The Unending Sorrow tries to go for the back line, but he will fall. Nunu just way too deep. Julius gets stunned up. No control. BRU looking to end this game, and they will take the first series at the EWC.
Absolute show-stopping there for Buriram United. They look contested in the early game. We thought Team Flash was going to do a number on them, but no, Buriram called the helpline and they were able to turn that one around. Buriram United looking feisty in KWC 2026. We have to obviously throw it over to the experts. Let's see what their breakdown is of this game.
What a way to start. You can see it right over there. Sportsmanship before anything. Buriram United Esports with a 2-0 win against Team Flash is going to move into the upper bracket. Congratulations to the boys in blue.
One more series and Buriram makes it to the official main event of our KWC 2026. And that was Kin. An absolute domination of a performance coming in from Buriram United Esports.
It's just total dominance for that one. I mean, we take a look at the later parts of the game, right?
Yeah.
It's the last potential fight, game-winning moment. The Mai gets a huge knockup onto two of the different members on the side of Team Flash. But the damage, the life bars did not go down at all.
Of course, because there was not an actual advantage in terms of items, in terms of gold. There's nothing in there. Let's just try to figure it out. Where did that happen? Where does this come from? Team Flash at the 345 marker. Right before the Tyrant, they decide to go and engage into a fight that I did not see like a good decision. The Ogren jumps in. Then right after that, the Tricha jumps in, but then was not damaged. And then right before the 4 minutes Tyrant, I did not imagine that that could be a good decision.
It was very similar to game one, right? Where it's always around that specific timer here, where I think, yes, Team Flash may have a bit of a miss-up on those plays, but you have to also prize Buriram United Esports, where they capitalize on these mistakes really, really well.
I want to point out here for you on the Byron. We were talking about this. His first item was not the Pure Sky. He actually went for the Frost Sky Embrace. I like the idea of it. You get the slow. They want to have the team, come on a 5-man jump onto the potential target, right? But that was not going to be the case when they're behind on gold. Another thing I want to pay attention to is Chicha. The Chicha pick is a great pick, but it's a very late game pick.
Of course.
And throughout the first 7 minutes of the game, Rin was at the T1s on the top side, bottom side, but they could not take a T1. And Buriram, in that moment, took 6 turrets.
And just in terms of that, like you can see how Buriram United Esports had a little bit more of a preparation, a little bit more in-depth, I would dare to say, just compared to their counterparts of Team Flash. The way that they just played the game, they came with a very clear plan, and I believe that this is what the other teams are going to be taking notes on. Their game is not about fighting. Their game is about turret destruction. They come in with the 2 picks that they had over there. The main idea of here was just give me the turrets.
And you talk about the 345 in game 2, but you link it back to game number 1. Clear goal coming in from the side of Buriram United Esports, taking down that tier 1, taking the red buff, and then snowballing the game. 8 minutes, 5,000 goal lead, only a single kill for Buriram in game 1. But that's just how they snowball the game into total control in this game 1.
And they understand the win conditions of each particular draft, right? Down here, first target to fall after Tofu was Julius. Julius was meant to be the recovery effect. Butterfly gets the assist, come back into the fight and get those finishing blows, but it was never the case.
Like, even in the situation you're a 4v5, just look at the goal lead here. 4,000 in the favor of Buriram United Esports here. Licky barely touched by any single member coming in from Team Flash. And as of this point, Julius is like, guys, I gotta head back to the fountain, get some health back. But then while the time he's on his way back, it's already too little too late.
It's so difficult to play this game because not only in game 1, game number 2, they had all the answers as well. Valdes, the moment he drops his ultimate, sure, that's fine. Maybe you want to try and get the team fight as well, but then look at the cover by Little Boys on the Dharma. He was all over the place getting those truth mantras in, and the truth really did hurt on this one.
We know that this is a team sport, that we understand how everything is going to be about like all the teammates pushing in. But it's important just to understand that some of them just shine a little bit brighter than the rest. When you think about Buriram United Esports, who do you think was like the biggest star in this 5-man formation?
Nunu.
You should have waited. We should have counted, and then we're going for Nunu because I had Nunu as well. Okay, we'll work on our teamwork, but it's okay. This is the Buriram gameplay, right? You go first, and I'll back you up.
I think I agree with you guys in terms of Nunu. Nunu in both games was ideal for any team, just being able just to deal the damage, to just be able to just protect as well. Well, what about if we go on stage and we try to see and hear a little bit more from the players? Mara, take it from here. Let's see exactly what's going on there.
From the winning team, Buriram United, we're here with Nunu, the mid laner. Congratulations! And how was that you received the very first match win here at EWC? How is that for your confidence? How is the team's mindset right now?
ก่อนอื่นเลยนะฮะก็ขอแสดงความยินดีด้วยนะฮะรู้สึกยังไงบ้างครับที่ตอนนี้เนี่ยเราคว้าชัยชนะแรกของทัวร์นาเมนต์ EWC มาแล้วฮะ
ดีใจครับเพิ่งมาเล่นด้วยครับก็แมตช์แรกก็สนุกครับ
Yep, I'm very happy and excited that we already achieved the first victory and like we are very happy to be here too in Paris.
And one thing we were really happy about, you used the new AOV collab hero Lorian in the mid lane. They're the very first team to use that in EWC. Now, Lorian has a really long stun. And when you get your opponent, well, it's a guaranteed success for you, especially when you were getting the farm laner in game one. How much fun was using Lorian, our new AOV hero collab, for your first match?
มาพูดถึงในตอนเกมแรกบ้างนะฮะเราหยิบลอเรียนมานะฮะซึ่งเป็นฮีโร่ที่เป็น collaboration กับทาง AOV นะฮะเนื่องจากว่าตัวนี้เนี่ยมีสตันที่ค่อนข้างเป็นเวลานานเลยทีเดียวเมื่อเราหรือว่าแลนสตันได้แล้วเนี่ยค่อนข้างจะเป็นการการันตีได้เลยทีเดียวมีความคิดเห็นยังไงบ้างครับ
ก็รู้สึกว่ามันแตกต่างกับเกม AOV ที่ผมเล่นครับเพราะว่าโลออนเกมนี้ก็จะเหมือนกึ่งโป๊กนิดนึงครับเพราะว่าสกิลเขาค่อนข้างแรงครับ
Yeah, so
Hi, Seven.
Lorian in this
Hi,
game is
Diorio.
kind of
Hi,
a bit of different from
Hi,
the
it's
AOV that
okay,
he has been
Like,
played because it's like in this game it's kind of semi-poke.
कैसे हो आप सब?
But we really enjoyed watching you. How about some tips for everybody watching looking to use this new hero Lorian in the ranked games? What would you like to suggest for them? Any tips for the rank?
ก็ขอ1ทิปให้กับแฟนๆที่ดูจากทั่วโลกหน่อยฮะว่าเวลาเล่นลอเรียนเนี่ยมีทิปอะไรบ้างครับ
ก็ถ้าเป็นของเกมนี้ก็พยายามโป๊ก่อนครับแล้วก็พอศัตรูเขาเข้ามาพลาดเราก็อันตีสวนไปครับ
So for this game just try to poke the enemy like as much as you can and like so when you saw that alright the HP of the enemy is like low enough just all in your ultimate skill
Great, for sure. More people are going to use that, and we're so proud with your first win. How about send a message to everybody watching from Thailand? What would you like to say to all your supporters?
มีข้อความอะไรอยากจะฝากถึงแฟนๆชาวไทยบ้างครับ
ก็ฝากเชียร์พวกผมด้วยครับพวกผมจะทำให้เต็มที่ครับผม
Yeah so thank you so much everyone for keep supporting us and like hope you guys will keep like supporting us till the end
Job well done once again. Congratulations, Nunu. Congratulations to Buriram United. And now we're going to head over to the casters. Lead the gorge.
Thank you very much, Mara. Thank you very much, Nunu. You can hear it over there in the background. The people are enjoying this a lot. As a person who has been working on HOK already for so many years, I'm going to tell you, lads, I am extremely happy of seeing this match one going the way that
Swati,
it went.
hello,
Because this is the main idea about this KWC 2026. Expanding our family, making the ecosystem richer, and make everyone just to understand from different angles, with different heroes, with different players, how our game can become richer and richer and richer.
And richer also comes in the form of pick and bans, right? Where you have AOV heroes coming in. We've seen in that game just now, Florentino, permaban.
Yes.
Not allowing anyone to play it. That is a very, very strong hero. And then you have the things like Lorian, which has had an amazing performance coming in from Nunu. And we have yet to see Anna yet, but I was pretty surprised when Julius picked up the butterfly in that game one. He had some pretty good moments here, but at the end of the day, it's a team game, and I think this time around in this upper bracket semifinals, I feel that specifically for the side of Buriram, they did better.
They definitely did. And of course, the tips from Nunu, right? This is very important, right? If there's low health, just get it poked. But of course, let's poke the bear a little bit. Let's go to Isaac.
You know what? I am extremely excited for this game. I am really looking forward for match number 2. Before we do that, what about if we go for a little break, and then after that, match number 2 is going to be upon us.
रुक जाओ, तब तक अपन ये सेटअप कर लेते हैं तो अच्छे से आप लोगों को एटलीस्ट ये ऊपर चला जाओ, ये ऐसा हो जाओ, ठीक है। मैं नीचे रहूँगी, चलेगा। तुम सुनाई नहीं दे रहे हो, ओह सॉरी। अभी ठीक है। गेम स्क्रीन मैं थोड़ा इसे और बड़ा कर सकती हूँ, ओवरले को देखा जाए तो है। ओवरले इतना बड़ा ठीक है। एंड आई कैन इंक्रीज माई, ऐसा ठीक है। अब हम जो ये पिक्चर है इसकी जगह हम ये वाली पिक्चर यूज़ करेंगे एंड ऊपर कर देंगे हम परफेक्ट। कितना परफेक्ट कर दिया ना। तो ऐड चल रहा है, ऐड चल रहा है गाइस। अभी तो साउंड नहीं आ रहा है, साउंड नहीं आ रहा है। नहीं, वो म्यूट करके रखा है मैंने, साउंड इसलिए नहीं आ रहा है। ऐसा ना बोलो, साउंड नहीं आ रहा है। अभी ठीक है गाइस, मतलब मैं ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं हूँ वैसे। को स्ट्रीमर फिर भी थोड़ा ज़्यादा बड़ा दिख रहा है ना अभी भी। इसे थोड़ा और छोटा कर सकती हूँ मैं ये वाली पिक्चर को। वेट, ये थोड़ा और छोटा कर लेते हैं हम। ये सारा सेटअप एक्चुअली मुझे थोड़ा जल्दी करना चाहिए था, बट नेवर माइंड, कोई बात नहीं, अभी कर लेती हूँ। वैसे भी ब्रेक टाइम चल रहा है। अब सही है ना, इट्स परफेक्ट। अब ये कुछ ज़्यादा वो हो गया, ठीक है चलो कर दिया। अभी सेट हो गया। क्या लैपटॉप है यार?
Greatness deserves a stage. Lenovo Legion. Reach your impossible.
मस्त लैपटॉप है। साउंड वॉल्यूम इंक्रीज कीजिए। अभी तो ऐड चल रही है, ऐड देखनी है हमको। अभी ऐड चल रही है गाइस, तब तक हम म्यूट ही रखते हैं। जब तक ऐड चल रही है तब तक ऐड देख के क्या करेंगे, सुन के। पहले बेटर था, तुम चैट के पीछे छुप गए हो ऐसे। अब फिर से वैसे करूँ मैं तो मैच भी चालू हो जाएगा। वापस से ऊपर करूँ, वापस से क्या चल रहा है ये मेरे जीवन में, ऐसा ऊपर नीचे ऊपर नीचे। रुको करती हूँ। हाँ मैं छुप तो गई हूँ, छुप तो गई हूँ नो डाउट। यार क्या ही बोलूँ। मैच नहीं दिख रहा था इसलिए मैं थोड़ा नीचे चली गई। मैं सोची मैच इज़ मोर इम्पोर्टेंट, तो मैं सोचा ये कहाँ गया डिस्प्ले कैप्चर मेरा। अच्छा लॉक है। बहुत दिक्कत है जीवन में। नहीं रुको मैं इसे बड़ा कर देते हैं थोड़ा कोका स्ट्रीमर को ऊपर नीचे ही मैं चला जाएगा पूरा मैच ऊपर नीचे ही करती रह जाऊंगी मैं चलो हो गया थोड़ा इधर चलो हो गया गुड है अब हम कुछ नहीं करेंगे अब हम चुपचाप मैच देखेंगे चुपचाप मैच चालू हो गया
onto the KWC with really
डिस्कॉर्ड
golden
पे
matches.
आना
Now, I don't mean to be someone who
अपना
would like
वीडियो
to
कैप्चर छोटा
discourage
कर दो
teams, but I feel
छोटा
that
कर
the
दूं?
direction coming in from the
ठीक है,
Indian
कर
region, the
देता
Kings
हूँ।
Arise champ, the
मेरा
runner-up
वीडियो
here, which
कैप्चर
is
ये रहा
SEUL. It's to learn as much as you can, adapt in towards it, and see how far you can realistically go. Because your opponents
मैं
here
इतना
influence
छोटा
rage,
नहीं
it
मैं
comes with
इतना
Chalk VR.
छोटा नहीं हूँ
Influence Rage is one of
थोड़ा
those
सा चल
teams
जाएगा,
that
इतना
they're
छोटा
really
नहीं।
looking forward just to show
लगेगी
us
like-
that the South American HOK scene are real contenders
मैं
in the
बहुत ज़्यादा
international
छोटा हो
stage.
जाऊँगा
We've
यार।
had them for a long time. These people with experience, but up
ये
until
रहने
right
देता है
now,
ना इतना
not
छोटा मैं
yet a big tournament win.
Not big tournament winner, but if
थोड़ा
you look at them
ऊपर कर
as a
सकते हो।
region as a whole, they've always been top 8.
Yes.
Like, that's a beautiful thing. If you've been to so many KWCs and
Display
you've reached top
capture,
8,
थोड़ा
that's
ऊपर
very
कर
impressive
देते
for your region.
But we need to just
ठीक
kind
है।
of like just make that step forward, right? Like top 8 was a great first start, but it's
ये
been
कहाँ
already
का हो
so
रहा
many
है?
years. We want to see one of the Chalk BR teams really make it
ठीक
to
है।
top 4 to make it to the finals. Wouldn't that be actually
Fine।
really interesting to watch?
Exactly right. I mean,
Fine।
that Chalk VR, like you mentioned, right? In
अरे मैं
terms
इधर
of
क्यों
HOK's
बैठी?
history, all the way from TIS1
बहुत
into
skill issue है
TIS2
भाई।
to currently the world
उधर
stage,
बैठ के
they have
देख रही हूँ
been,
ऐसे
I would say,
चलो ठीक है
on a
हो गया फाइन
slow run down where they look good at the start, but as the global infrastructure
जीवन
starts
कैसे हो?
improving, they need
सब
to find
कैसे
more
हो?
ways to prove themselves. Like they have what it takes to actually contend for the top spots here. Like Alpha 7 Gaming from last year, they actually made top 8. And who was in that roster? You have Fury, you have players like Danny who led that roster here. So coming in towards this play-ins here is their stepping stone for a greater success.
Let's spotlight that a little bit, right? Because we just mentioned Danny. When you think about Chalk BR, you're always thinking about the same man. And this is going to be a good
Last
good
match
moment
क्या
for
था
Danny
भाई?
just to prove
खतरनाक।
that, right? Like, it's going to be a completely new team, a new roster. Can he really just play to the level that he needs to play in this KWC 2026?
I really think so, because I mean, last year we kind of like doubted him as just a solo tank jungler, but then this time around, obviously last year, he proved to us, he was like, right, we can be the assassins, we can play the game.
Well, we will have to wait and see exactly what we're going to do. Let's wait and see exactly what is going to happen. We are going to have influence.
ओ,
rates
सोल का
against
मैच है अभी।
SAUL
सोल
esports.
वर्सेस
These
क्या
are
लगता है
going
कौन
to be the
जीतेगा
players. This is going to be the teams. Ken, Holler, what do you guys have in mind?
Right? I
Soul
think that for
Esports.
this one, it really sets the tone of the rest of how the Group A is going to be. We saw the first two teams already, especially in terms of this AOV squads, but now a lot of pressure on both of these ones, especially for, I mean, is it Sol Esports? Like, who has more pressure on them?
I would definitely think it's the reverse. It has to be Influence Rage, right? Because we
मुझे
have
सोल
players
का
like
ड्राफ्ट
Danny,
देखना है एक
or
बार
Danny as we like to call him. He has experience in AOV as well. He should know what's coming under the covers of that punch.
Yes, definitely so. And I think that for him, in terms of experience on the international stage, he probably has the most throughout the
chat
entire,
हाथ में ले
you know,
लेती
both
हूँ।
of the squads here,
आराम
right?
से
So I
बैठ के
think that for
देखूंगा।
looking into this one, Danny is
मेरी
probably
आवाज
the
आ
guy.
रही है ना
And
अच्छे से
also, the history of this,
Stream
when
पे?
the Brazil teams came in, they got first place in their competitions. This is S8UL's first ever international competition. Can they repeat the results as well? We're going to see, because the first pick is going to be the Zhang Fei, one of the biggest tanks in the game. This is going to be really important because they have a lot of health bars as well as a lot of damage on the side of S8UL.
Good, you know, a great, you know, couple of picks to kind of set things up. SAUL, especially with this global marksman, you're really setting things up for
ये hero बहुत
Keltizi
pick
to
हो रहा है।
really
कौन
get
सा
going.
बताइए
He
ये
wants
वाला?
that type that needs that
मुझे
range,
try करना होगा ये
and
hero।
global marksman hits all of those parts.
Ooh, this one that hurts me in the gut. I mean, the Lorian, we've already seen this in the first series of the day, and that's a lot of damage, a lot of CC, more importantly, because 2 seconds is a long time. in the Honor of Kings World. But add that in, we have the Guan Yu coming in for the side lane with the Zhang Fei. So what? This is like 4 seconds of CC?
Yes, a lot of control. And I mean, with that Lorien, which you rightly pointed out, a lot of it is going to revolve around that. We were expecting going in, there was going to be a moment where Lorien would be insta-banned almost every single game. Obviously, very early. Second series of the day.
बाल
And we've already
बांधते
seen it in the
इतना
first
सिर
one where it was
फटने
completely
लगता है ना
dominant in
पता
that
नहीं
first
क्या है
game.
मैं बाल
Yes,
बांध
and
ही
of
नहीं
course, the
पाती
biggest
अपने
surprise to me is that
On
they
serious
did
note.
not pick up the Florentino. So Florentino is open for the taking, but it will not show, right? Unless someone wants to
Hair
play in
tie
the jungle,
करने
which
पे
shouldn't
मेरा
be the
कुछ
case.
दिक्कत है, guys.
But with that being said,
I can't
the
tie
Lapu
my
Lapu
hair,
comes in
you know?
as the final pick before the
There
second
is
half
some
bans
issue.
come in. Now that's a lot of tankiness, a lot of physical
खुशियों
and
को
magical
होता है ना
events coming
कि
in from the
भाई
Lapu's
बाल
passive.
tightly बांधने
This
पे
is going to
रहता है
help
दिक्कत
out SA.UL's draft so far. They have a Byron Mega Shields, and the Flowborn Marksman is going to be a very important pick here. He is a shredder on this team.
Definitely so. And there's a lot of tinky guys, so it's definitely going to be something that they're looking to do. Let KLTZ get going, right? On the same side, if we're looking at both of them, you rightly pointed out, very tanky, a lot of those big stuns to set things up in the first phase of the draft here.
Bye.
But now I think they need to really shore up, get more damage on the board, if you will.
Yeah, they definitely need to. My biggest question now is, okay, look, farm lane is still available for the picks on the side of Influence Rage, but a lot of the useful ones, like the Arlie, Direnjia, as well as the Aoyan, the Lung, have been taken out. Lupan is great, but Lupan is very immobile.
Yes, definitely. That's a huge problem, right? Right now, it's about mobility, being able to kind of, when those team fights are about to happen, especially with the Guan Yu lurking around in the wings, Lapu Lapu is going to be looking to set things up himself with the Byron as backup. You got to kind of make sure you have the right angles.
It's so difficult. You know what hero comes to mind? I like the Garo. She does a great job at shredding the shields, plus 50% damage on shielded targets. That could be the answer here, but once again, mobility is an issue. They need help. Hopefully the Guan Yu, the Zhang Fei, and the Lorien will be able to assist and provide the space needed.
Yes, and now with this Lady Jeanne here to kind of set things up for the mid-game. Again, a lot of the stuns. This is even more pressure on KLTZ to perform. He goes down, they're going to lack a lot of damage.
For sure. And you know what? I'm hoping for the skin coming in on this Lady Jeanne pick, but we'll take a look at what the final portions of this BP will be. Influence Rage, they're going to set the stage. They need
I
the
think-
jungler, they need the farm laner,
I
and
think
they
यहाँ
need to be
पे
able to
इनको
shred. They
और
have the
एक
CC,
tanky hero
they have
लेना
the control, they have the movement
think.
as well.
अगर
They
लेते
need
तो
the
it's
final
good,
answer here.
better है
My problem is
नहीं
I'm not a
लेते
huge fan of this 4 protect 1 lineup, right? I think that, oh, okay, well, there you go. They're going to get to the back line. This is one way to do it. But I do think if we're talking about, overall team fights, they have a lot of control to deal with this Jing that's going to
Yes.
potentially jump to that back line.
yes yes
Okay,
yes
you know what? A mirror is broken. That's not going to be a good
बहुत सही
sign
hero
here
pick किया है।
for the side of Influence
बहुत
Rage.
सही
But
hero
if
pick
there's
किया है इन्होंने।
any team to pull this off, Dani in the jungle on a Jing. I don't
OP.
remember seeing him play this hero too many times. But we also have Leffy on the channel. Can the Brazil squad bring themselves to the next stage of KWC play-ins?
I love how Influence Rage drafted this, right? They were like, okay, who is our star player? Danny, right? Let's set things up so that we ensure that we get a hero that he's going to love to play. It's going to be all or nothing in terms of just how this hero is able to kind of, get his farm and to do that damage. It's all in right now on the Danny train.
Okay, and we also, we had a very short moment with both coaches just now. And on the side of SAUL, they predicted a 2-0 scoreline for the series.
Okay.
So I want to see if that comes true. On the other hand, for Kaiba, he's coming in. There is a big expectation. They need to dominate at this play-ins for the KWC 2026.
Yeah, and I think as Influence Rage, you want to be like, okay, hello, welcome to the international stage. We
ये
will
क्या
smack you
दिख
down.
रहा है
I think that would be
ऐसा
best
orange
case
मेरे
scenario for
screen
them.
पे?
SAUL, obviously, they want to perform. If they're able
क्या
to take
दिख
the
रहा है
first
orange? What
5-10
is
minutes
this?
and get an edge, that
अच्छा,
would be
ये
a
इसका
huge
है।
win in terms of confidence, morale, and really sticking it to Influence Rage.
That's the dream, right? But this is
Yes.
the international stage, and this is their first time on the international
Okay.
stage.
Right.
For Influence Rage, is the complete opposite. They
should
have been
make
here
the people
multiple times. They have
smile,
experienced the tension,
yes,
the energy as well of the crowd.
yes.
I want to see how this affects both teams.
Yes, I think that's going to be the biggest piece. As we go to the second series of the day, we're going to go to game number 1 to see exactly Influence
wait.
Rage, SAUL
Let me
Esports,
do,
how they
guys.
do this one. Because
जब तक ये
again,
set नहीं होगा,
if we're
it will
talking
be
about
like-
draft though, who are you giving the edge
नहीं
to?
जमेगा
I actually like the side of
screen
Influence
ऊपर चाहिए
Rage a
मुझे।
little bit more, but simply because there is a potential for
इससे ज़्यादा मैं
flashy
face
very
cam stream ही नहीं
confusing
करते, इतना
intense
दिक्कत हो
moments
रहा है।
that will be brought over to the side of SAUL.
Seriously.
So if they don't know how to deal with this, SAUL might fall in this first game.
Yes. All about
Chalo,
space,
theek hai
space,
abhi.
space. I can't speak more of it because Keltizi is the guy. He's 100%. Are they able to kind of get on point? He needs to stay alive, ensure that he gets as much time with the solo experience as he's getting in this bottom lane. This is what they want to do in terms of just kind of setting him up for success.
Easier said than done, because at this point, China, with the Soul of the Wolves as well, it kind of dilutes the value of a flow-born marksman pick, because yes, you can pierce your targets, but if they're all at different angles, you can't get the amount of wave clear speed that you want.
Yes, and now it looks like at the same time, Influence Rage, I mean, this, if they're able to kind of limit what KLTZ is going, that's going to open things up for Danny, right? And if we're trying to talk about space, about who can really carry, Danny's the guy.
It has to be. And the Ching is a big pick here. They
ये
need this
कैसा hero है?
lady
देख
in
रहे हो
the
bike
mirror
पे?
domain and dimension to be able to shine. And this is going to be the first big objective you're talking about, right? The goalie. Can they get the EXP and the goalie over to the side of Danny? Because if they can't, then SAUL, Kong is going to show him a world of hurt.
Yeah, Kong is definitely the guy that needs to step up, right? Make sure, I would like it if SAUL were to be aggressive and to take away some of those Azure Golems, because you take away that blue buff, Danny's not going to be able to farm as much as he would like.
Yeah, and you know what? Farming is definitely going to be important. They're going to open it. I don't think it's too much. Actually, Kong doesn't really care. He goes back in.
Yeah, not scared. He's actually fighting 1 versus 3 because he knows that reinforcements are on the way. Meta taking most of the damage. He has the Leaping Savior just to stay alive. But SAUL, again, this is what you want to do. You want to pick, poke, prod, whatever you can do, and put pressure on Influence Rage.
I like this confidence, right? You have to have it at this point.
Oh, nice little stun, though. They flash away Extreme, just staying alive. Doofy had his back, though.
Okay, so 2 minutes cooldown, 120 seconds for the flash. That's a good skill to take out, common spell to take out from the side of SAUL. But it's on the extreme. The ladies, and she can play from far, so it doesn't really matter that much at this point.
Definitely doesn't really matter. I mean, Extreme is the type where he's kind of like the secondary support, right? He doesn't have to get those items. Maybe you get the Venomous Stat, but nice little control. They find Fury, the Leaping Savior, the shields are on point. Fury looking to limp away. But now here comes the Razor Cavalry on the back. Tempest with a nice play, but Kong is going to go down. They find Extreme as well, and SAUL have to just limp away with 2 members down.
We are afraid of the Tempest Dragon. No, you need to be afraid of the Tempest Guan Yu. This is the one that hurts one more.
Yeah, KLTZ flashing away, just trying to again, pick and prod with Leffy on this one, who again created a lot of that space. Now this bottom T1 is under siege.
And this one hurts, because right now this means he's missing out on the minion EXP and gold. This is not looking good for KLTZ as well. Now we take a look at the goal lead, right? Close to 3,000.
Oh, nice little stun. Oh, Doofy finds Leffy. He tried to Soaring Signal back to safety, but he got caught out. The charge is just too much from Doofy.
Not the kind of peekaboo that Leffy wants to. And, you know, the fact he came from the left, that was great.
Leffy, as he goes into this one. Now, I mean, that's going to be a huge win for that. But now, if we're talking about how they want to play this one out, Doofy, nice little control, finding 2 members in the brush. But again, it was more of just impeding the ambush attempt.
Yes, it is. And right now, this laning phase is, I think, even Stevens for now, but the goalie's definitely in the side of Influence Rage. And 4 minutes, Doofy hiding alone here.
Oh, he's all by himself, but there's 3 members that tried to go on. Good. This is great in terms of that spacing, right? Doofy took a lot of that damage, and now it's going to set up for this Tyrant. Oh, now they find him. Doofy getting a little bit too low, the Raging Sea, but he's going to be picked off. Kong is too low himself, and they find 3 members. Influence Rage are starting to create that space.
Exactly what you want. The important members, they're all gone. The tank, Doofy is gone. KLTZ, your farmland is gone. Your jungle, Kong is gone as well. And SAUL, they need to find a recovery point because Danny has already secured the first timer of the game. 30 seconds in, not what you want to see.
It kind of started with Doofy, right? He was kind of initially fighting, got a little bit too low, and when the actual team fight was happening, he was kind of just taken down. You need his CCs, you need him to kind of cycle through his skills, was not able to do it because it was just a little too low at the beginning of that fight.
I mean, he was just doing his job, right? He wanted to get the vision for the team, but now that simple change has made life a lot more difficult. Influence Rage, they're looking for the target in the mid lane. If the T1 falls here, it's going to be a difficult one to fight back. 5k goal difference is not something you can come back from easily.
I mean, it's 1K starting to grow with every minute that's happening, right? I mean, we're only 5 minutes into this one. Kong just trying to keep his Crimson Golem alive, or, the buff away for himself. He does take that, but SAUL right now, they are absolutely reeling. They need to calm down, find ways to get back into this.
Okay, I mean, it felt like you were telling me to calm down because it was looking kind of scary for Kong at this point. 0-2-0, no assists, no kills, 2 deaths. This is not where you want to be at this point.
Do not. And look at how Influence Rage completely zoning them away. They've kind of just, springboarded past that T1 mid to push them further back. SAUL right now, they're starting to group up together, and that is a losing proposition.
Yes, when it rains, it pours for this one because now the jungle is getting taken away. You don't get the EXP from the lanes anymore. You don't get the EXP. Here we go.
They dive on this one. They find Kong, who has to roll on back, but the Razor Cavalry, the pushback is unreal by Tempest. Miriam is solo himself. He's starting to limp away, but Influence Rage have already taken a huge opening with 2 members down. They're going to take the bottom T3 as well.
Okay, what's the call here? Do we go in for more? Because there is no more Extreme, there's no more Kong. They have the 2 tanks left. Kilteezy actually right now is a very, very crucial positioning. If they can take Kilteezy down, there is no defense.
There's absolutely no defense. I mean, he's the guy that needs to just do the wave clearing. He needs to get that farm. But again, if we're talking about space and XP, he's just overall, he's fallen really behind. Leffy has a 2-level advantage over him.
He also has a 2,000 gold advantage. It's 2 for 2 at this point. And you know what? 7-1 in terms of the kill score. It's looking all Brazil at this point.
It is, definitely so. I mean, they're taking everything. I mean, they can't even get to their own Crimson Golem because of the fact that they've been zoned away. Influence Rage playing this one phenomenally here as they've completely zoned them away.
And they play this really safely, right? Both Crimson buffs, one on Fury, one on Leffy. The big pokes, they don't even need Danny to jump in. He doesn't have to take the risk.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, when you have Fury, you have Tempest, all of these guys that can be those frontliners, and Danny can just, secondary initiate, which is what you want to do because he's very vulnerable. He's able to find that damage, and he's able to burst them down when they need to.
Yeah, Fury definitely was watching the interview, right?
Yes.
We meant the advice for new players, but Fury was like, okay, that sounds good to me too.
Yeah, I mean, they saw the first series. This Lorien has just been unreal in terms of how much impact that he has. Those orbs are starting to do some serious damage. He pushes away, zoned them out. The top T3 looking just like that. They're looking to take this down.
Yep, the fight hasn't even started, and they're low, right? The 2 pokes, Leffy getting those soaring signals in, Fury with the pokes as well. This is a hard defense for S8 UL, and it's not going to end anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't know if it's hard or impossible at this stage, right? Oh, they go in, they find him and kill Teasy just like that. You blink and you're going to be killed, and they find them. They push him back as well. They find Kong, but the crystal is open. They're going to take it one down.
Wow.
Influence Rage up, game number 1.
Big moments for the side of Influence Rage, and it was a rager. This is where Kaiba, the coach, wanted to have happen. He has been waiting for this moment on the international stage for a long time.
And now it looks like, I mean, they're going to be so happy with that, how that one played out. SAUL, on the other hand, kind of, this is a bit of a wake-up call. It's not the end of the world. It's just one game, but they need to find ways to bounce back in this one.
I mean, okay, it's just one game, right? It doesn't matter if you lose at this stage that much, you still have a second life. But ideally, you want to be able to make it last faster.
And INF is going to take that first victory. It was an 8 minutes match. They came in and then just in a very supreme and very superior fashion, they came in and they took in the victory. Lads, break it down for everyone, please.
I mean, it's just a very big difference in terms of experience, right? Where we see, yes, individual prowess coming in from players like Danny on that Jing, finding multiple angles, and also the Guan Yu. That was a magnificent performance in ending that game in that crystal area here. But in terms of the individual performance here coming in from SAUL, you can clearly see that they are really lacking behind in that team understanding in terms of macro and micro.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there was definitely, we do have experience on the side of Solar Esports, right? Obviously, we do have Kong there. He's probably going to be the driving force, giving and ushering all this experience over to the team. But when they have Influence Rage, Chuck VR, that's been going since what, 2022. There is a wealth of more experience there for Influence Rage.
And you could see just in the main difference when we were talking about Danny, right? Like Danny in here, he comes in with the Jin pick. He's the person that opens the game over here for Influence Rage, right? Like they come in the 4th minute. The Jin, just the initiation over there in the blue zone. It is what makes everything just turn around. What about if we just go for a quick break? When we come back, it's gonna be game number 2 of this match number 2. Let's go back to Influence Rage against Seoul Esports. In that game number 1, I do believe that the key for Influence Rage to be able to take the victory was their awareness of the map and the way that they were zoning out their opponents in all of the different lanes, right?
I feel like it's a very good point, right? Where you have the Unbridled Outburst coming in from Mena, and also Tempest coming in from the back with that Guan Yu's ultimate here, which actually limited a lot of space coming in from the side of SAUL to find those early game markers here. Yes, you want to play the double marksman composition like what Buriram did, but in the end, if you can't get the early game going, laning phase jungle, you're just gonna get sandwiched by that double engage.
Of course, that is not going. It's not going to work out, right? Like, because at the end of the day, like, you need to be able to have an advantage if you want to play with that double marksman composition, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if you want to play with that double marksman conversation, you then gonna try and like create that space for yourself, right? But then, like you said, if you got the Guan Yu just pushing you into the jungle, it's kind of just like, where's your space? You've not got it. If you don't know where to be, we're gonna force you into that right place.
They did have at the beginning of the game, they had one opportunity just to take that first blood that might have just turned things around. Like, it would have actually just made everyone just feel a lot better with themselves and could actually turn the game around, but they couldn't just capitalize out of that.
And especially when you talk about these moments here where you are losing not only by draft, you're also losing by team fights here. So it's really difficult for the players on the side of SAUL to realistically find a footing for those proper team fights.
There we go. Obviously, they need to find the proper team fights. I feel like Solar Esports, this definitely need to kind of just go back to what they know. Kong maybe lean into that a little bit more in terms of the experience that he has for the team, but it's all there for them to show now. This is their showcase. Do they go to the low bracket or do they fight for the upper bracket? Casters, they need to tell the story.
They're gonna have to just tell us the story of what is going on in here. Take it from here, lads.
Yeah, thank you so much as we go into game number 2 to find the draft. For me, it seemed like it was too much of an all-in play on the KLTZ, especially with this Flowborn marksman. I feel like you need to balance it out, right? I think that you can't put too much pressure on one guy. Everybody needs to step up.
Yeah, it needs to be a balance in terms of who gets the resources, how do we distribute the resources for this. And at this point, I think, you know what, at least in game 1, Kong, I felt, did a decent job of trying to resolve the situation, but time was not on their side.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have much time when the spacing is going to be completely taken away, right? There was that initial fight where 3 members got killed right before the Tyrants. That was a bit of a disaster in terms of a start. You need to kind of come out 50-50. Maybe you contest, take that away. They were not able to do so.
I mean, this is one of the things, right? They were pretty tanky, but they only had 2 points of damage realistically, right? One from the Gudo, the other from the Flowborn marksman. So at this point, once again, we're going to re-explore the BPs. Lianpo is going to be a big pick. Zhang Fei is going to be a big pick. These are the big tanks, right? No more Lapu Lapu for them on the side of S8UL. I'm wondering if they want to go for utility roams instead.
I think it makes sense, right? But I think that for me, maybe you let Kong not just play like the tanky style junglers, but let him fly too. Let him play like the Jing, Luna, those styles, right? They are aggressive. Let them play, again, use his advantage to create space. Now KLTZ will have a much easier game.
Okay, I like the idea of that, but it's kind of a difficult position to be in because right now they're just going to start up with the Chicha. Chicha, as you all know, flex pick can be played in the farm, can be played in the clash, can be played in the jungle. So I like this movement from SAUL.
Yeah, it's a great pick. I mean, I like the fact that you're talking about how flexible it is. It's a lot of mind games because if you're looking at the other side, it's like, oh, where is it going to be? How do we ban other heroes, understanding that it could be literally any of those lanes?
That's right. And you know what? Let's not even consider the difficulties. Let's just go for tankiness first, right? And we have the potential of return fire on that ultimate, on the Dharma as well, the Truth Mantra. So I like this. Lapu Lapu as well as the Dharma picks coming in. This is going to be a very important pick because Tempest, I felt like he had a lot of impact in game number 1. Now with a Dharma, there is even more pain to offer.
Yeah, just setup after setup. And he finds the right angles, especially like he did in the last game with Guan Yu. But if we're looking at the other end, it looks like they're going to go with the tried and true. The Zhang Fei, very traditional, but the Zhang Yu, your thoughts on this one in the clash?
I love this hero when it's on my team. Okay. Because with the Hegemon Slash, which is the ultimate, the lower your health, the higher the damage, and you also get a mini stun from that skill itself.
Hi,
so
Samrat, for
this
this
is a positional objective on the side of SAUL, right? If this Xiangyu gets into the correct position, soaks in enough damage, returns it fully to the side of Influence Rage, it could change the plane of the fight.
My only concern is Xiangyu very slow, right? The Hegemon Slash takes like 3 business days to truly arrive. I mean, to actually hit that mark. But again, if you have other setup, especially with this Zhang Fei, you have ways to kind of mitigate and play around it.
I mean, okay, number 1, yes, maybe for some people it feels like it takes 3 business days. And plus, you're trying to get it on an Erin who is like a feather in the wind.
Yes.
Right? Very mobile, able to change directions at any moment. And within a moment's notice, that's the biggest thing. Now, the big question here is, can this Erin farm? Do they give the space for Leffy to get the gold in his pocket?
Yeah, and actually Leffy, let's talk a little bit about him because when he was picked up, it seemed like Influence Rage were able to kind of up themselves to the next level. They were able to kind of really just use his play and, you know, just solidify that farm lane to elevate this team to the next level. Leffy right now, from what I'm told, he's one of the hardest workers in the room. So there's a lot of good things that, again, you can kind of see in the play of Leffy here.
Okay, so
मैं
hard
कहाँ हंस रही
worker.
हूँ?
I mean, if you're paid fairly, then probably he's gonna get a lot of gold in his pocket for this game.
मैं नहीं
number
हंस रही
2.
हूँ।
Now they're gonna pick up the Ukyo Tachibana for the
मैं तो game
side
देख
of
रही हूँ।
Influence Rage. Going up.
मैं क्यों हंसूँ?
Wait, what is this? This is gonna be a Ziya in the mid lane and a Demon in the farm lane. The Chicha is going into the jungle.
Okay. We knew it was going to be flexible. And again, they might as well just flex it like that. But now you have the Zia, which again is one of those win more type of heroes. It doesn't do the greatest things at times because when you're behind,
ये मैच
it
भी
feels
मेरे
like
को
a really
लगता
just
नहीं
tough hero
देखते
to play
हैं
with here.
क्या करता है
Actually,
इसको।
I would contest that. With the sanctification, he gets extra EXP as well, right? And he can break the level limit, so you get to level 25 if the game really goes late. Put that on a Chicha, put that on a Direnjie. It changes the whole situation of the team fight. Right now, you have to have many other considerations as well. Now, they're gonna finish up the draft on S8 UL's side, or no,
अभी
Influence
सो
Rage
के
with
उठा।
the Nuwa.
हट।
I like that. There's a
Brush
lot of
करने
burst
दो।
damage, a lot of mobility,
गेम में
very quick
हंसने वाली
rotations
तो
from the
कोई
mid lane
नहीं।
as well. This could change a
कुछ नहीं
lot
है।
of things.
And actually,
मेरी
it's about that
मर्जी,
range.
मेरा
You have a
मुंह, मेरे
huge,
दांत।
the artillery bombardment from the next level or the next map, if you will. I mean, he's able to just stay alive. He's able to kind of stay out of harm's reach.
ECW नहीं है।
Jiangyu as well as the Jiang Fei. Both of these guys that are
EWC है।
looking to find that backline.
You know,
EWC
I
cup।
always think like that when I
Rise
play
Star
Nuwa,
नहीं है,
but
ये
somehow
Rise Star
I find
नहीं है।
myself in the loving arms of the
क्या
opponent
बोल रहे
team. So hopefully this doesn't happen
हाँ, वो
for the
खाली है।
side of Influence Rage.
चलो।
But this is a difficult position to be in because SAUL, they want to get into the thick of the action. They want to be
यहाँ से भी ले
face
लो।
in your face.
Yeah, and I think that they need to play that way. They need to be aggressive. They need to give themselves a chance because again, I know that you like the Extreme Zia as
ज्ञान
more of a late game
gamer, वो
assurance.
वाला नहीं
I'm
चल
looking
रहा
at
है,
it as
वो
early
वाला
game.
नहीं
If
चल
they
रहा है।
falter here, he's
वो वाला
literally
नहीं
just
है,
an old
ये
man. He's like
Honor
a
Queen
poor
है।
man's Gandalf, if you will.
Okay, well, the old man put some damage in here, and Danny, I like the idea, the question, but this is time wasted, right? If they don't manage to get the early rotations, this is going to cost them.
Yeah, and Danny here using that gold sharing. One thing that we saw even in game one was how Influence Rage were able to extract as much value across the map, especially early, because that was what was able to get that snowball going here.
Yeah, and more importantly, right, it's also they now have the information about which buffer started. So this is going to impact what they're going to be thinking about, right? In the next 90 seconds, how do we want to plan our rotations?
ज्ञान
Do we
अंकल
want to
नहीं
care
खेल
about the
रहे।
mid lane, right? Right
ये
now,
ऑनर
this
ऑफ
is
किंग
free
चल
XP
रहा
that
है।
they're losing
दिस
if
इज
they don't
ऑनर
get
ऑफ
here on
किंग
time.
का
But look at how all
टूर्नामेंट।
three members, just like that, right? Influence Rage,
ज्ञान
all of them are like,
किंग
okay,
क्यों
let's use that
होंगे?
gold sharing. That wave is about to
फ्रेश
collapse into the
करेला
tower.
खाना
So
चाहिए
they've kind of,
गेमर।
again, extracted as much as possible, sticking to a three-man posse here.
Okay, I like this, right? I'm just going to sidestep into the hyper roast. Revenant, Spark, as well as SAUL Esports will break the meta of HOK Global Esports. As it stands now, it's looking a little, new.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to be like where these teams are, especially when you haven't played against some of the levels of these teams who have been playing around for year after year, right? So it's a little bit, more of a kind of a free roll
Hi,
for
Mesli.
SAUL as they
Welcome
kind
to
of
the
find their
stream.
footing to find. Nice two-man stun with that Universal Law, which has been dodged out. Influence Rage, get on out of there.
Okay, did they burn the common spells? No, they did not. But was it worth the exchange? It puts fear in the minds on the side of Influence Rage, right? This is a possibility
भाई
you
oily
have to
skin का
consider.
बहुत दिक्कत
Now,
है
with
मेरे
that being
को,
said,
कसम से।
SAUL. Oh,
I don't
Kilteezy.
know why.
This one is looking a
इतना
little
oily
bit
skin क्यों
uncomfortable.
होता है
Lefty,
मेरा?
you talked about being the hardest worker in the room. He is working really hard right now.
Yeah, Kilteezy though, he's gonna get found out. Danny, he's looking for the first kill. He's gonna
मिल
take
गया
first
first
blood
blood?
right there, and that
मिला?
was a wounded fish, if you will. He's gonna take that
नहीं
free
मिला।
food to go.
वो मिला।
This is a level 4
अब
mana. There
soul
is
हो
something
गया।
to set up here.
Soul
If
ने
they can
एक
steal
kill
this
दे दिया।
away before the 4-minute Tyrant, this could be huge for the side of Influence Rage.
Actually, the way that they're disengaging is that, okay, it's about value, right? Let's just go to the mid lane. We don't need to do a 50-50 smite, and a smite battle, if you will. Danny completely giving that up, but again, just trying to extract more farm on this map as they're up about 1.3.
Yeah, what I'm curious about is at this point, have they frozen the lane? No, they have not. So Lefty actually allows the recovery of gold and EXP for the side of Kilteezy.
Yeah, but maybe a bit of a misplay. I mean, again, I think that freezing it in that bottom lane would have been huge for them because Kilteezy, that walk of shame all the way back, plus you're losing a lane, it would have been very difficult to find anything. So again, a little bit of a,
सोल
misplay,
ने
if you will.
सोल का एक बंदा
I
मर
think
गया।
calculated risk at this point, right?
Early
So
में
Lefty,
एक first blood।
that's the thing I want to really focus on. Doofy, game number one, got caught out early before the
अब
fight.
यहाँ पे गैंग
But
होगा.
now we're going to have a new one.
Oh, here's the emergence. They actually have the numbers. The three-man stun. The Hegemon Slash will actually connect on, but they find Kong in the bad spot as Danny takes that kill.
This is unfortunate for the side of SAUL. They need Kong to stay online. They need him to come up as soon as possible. They're going to stop this TP. 15 seconds cooldown.
Oh, Miriam just stopping the teleport, but there's 3-4 members of them, and Miriam is going to sacrifice his life just to cancel that TP.
Yep, didn't even have his ultimate available. Had to burn the flash as well. And now, 4 minutes
गुड़िया
into the tyrant has
HOK
arrived.
पसंद
And
है या
Influence
मुझे?
Rage looking super strong.
HOK.
And Kong, he's already used the smite. It's on cooldown right now, so
It's
they
okay,
actually can't even
Pasanda.
contest on this one. Influence Rage are going to pick this up for free. Yes, they are around, but
Padua
again, you're
contest
giving that
नहीं.
one away.
I mean, how many advantages do you want to get? You get the Tyrant, you also get the
Bye.
T1 at the top with the split push from Tempest. It's all looking good for the side of Influence Rage. They want to end the series here and now, clean slate.
They're looking very clean right now. I mean, this is a huge lead already, 2.5 or so. Doofy's on back off here. But the way that they're, again, just taking stuff off of the map, the positioning of them, they're finding
Yeah.
Doofy in a bad spot, and they're going to take that free kill as well. The emergence potentially going in, but the Universal Law on the Fury and Danny,
HP low
they are
MP.
low.
No, but they don't have the long range finish. There is no one to finish the job here, right? And if they still survive, they get away, they're going to get back to full health. And once again, you find yourself in the exact same position. You have nothing. to
Last
offer at
match
this
भी
point.
kind of
Nothing
similar
at
ही
this
था.
point. And it's
You
kind of a
missed
sad
last
story, if
match,
you will,
no?
but SAUL, it's one of those things where
Last
okay,
match भी same ही
this is
था.
not looking good. How can we get ourselves back into this game?
कुछ
Do we go
कुछ खास
aggressive?
नहीं हुआ था
How,
last
again,
match.
how are we getting back?
I think it really is avoid the fights, right?
Okay.
They have to avoid the fights at this point. They have to try and farm safely and also understand what rotations are possible. This needs to be done by Doofy. He needs to let the team know whether buffs are up, what kind of rotations are being made on the side of Influence Rage. He's already giving the vision.
Okay, but it looks like they have all
Okay.
5 members. They try to go all
Wow,
in. They do get
nice.
the pick off. They find Leffy.
Double
and on
kill.
the backside, it looks like Fury's going to be
Double
targeted
kill.
on next, and he too will
Nice.
fall. That is a great ambush
Nice.
attempt, but Miriam a little bit low.
Are
They
they?
find Extreme. Danny has showed up, but he gets stun locked here on this side. And now with that Raging Sea, completely whizzing Keltizi, who gets back onto the tower. Doofy is still duking it out with Danny. Danny's
दोनों
decided to turn
जाएंगे
it
क्या?
up.
बच
He
गए,
actually
बच गए.
leaps over the wall,
अरे?
but they're going to dive the tower, and Mena not able to find Miriam in the end.
It was a sliver of hope, right?
मेरी
It looked
chat
great.
को
2 kills
इंग्लिश
for the side of
में
SAUL,
ट्रांसलेट क्यों हो रही
but
वो
the
मुझे
punish
देखना
coming
पड़ेगा
in
यार
from this
यूट्यूब
side
का
of
कुछ
Influence
सेटिंग
Rage
में
was
है जाके
exactly
देखना
the
पड़ेगा
same
वो ट्रांसलेटर
as
कैसे
well
बंद
in
करता है
quality. Now Danny recovery
बहुत
4-0-1.
दिक्कत है ये
This
ट्रांसलेटर
guy
कर
is a
देता है
monster in the making, and there is no slowing down. 3,000 goal lead. Majority should be in the hands of Danny here.
Yeah, Danny is that guy, right? He is literally the guy in terms of just like when the team fights are happening, you got to get out. Extreme trying to flash away.
हाँ
The mini
भाई
stun
क्या
on. He's not getting out
क्या
of that
चल
one.
रहा
As
है
Danny
हाय
finds
क्या
yet
हाँ
another.
वो कुछ
Miriam is going to charge on back, but they've been
Tournament चल रहा है,
completely zoned
tournament.
away from this bottom T2.
टूर्नामेंट
It's not even about taking a fight. It's just
Tournament.
pushing them back, so the backdoor defense will be unlocked by the moving minions on the bot side of the way of the lane. And right now, Influence Rage, they have absolute control over the gorge.
Yeah, absolute control. I mean, SAUL were able to find a couple pickoffs. Things were looking decent for them in terms of this comeback, but then Danny
match
shows
ban
up and you're
करनी
like,
चाहिए
wait,
थी
actually,
उनको.
we are really that far behind.
लॉन्ग रेंज वाली
Yeah, but it's a difficult position to be in because if you take a look
ये
at
मैच
the
बैन
team
करना
games,
चाहिए था क्यों
they're
ओपन
getting too
रखा
much
ये
damage
मैच मेरे को
before the
समझ
fight
नहीं रहा
actually
है
starts. Now this was looking great for a moment, but look at how many spells they threw, how many ultimates they dropped
चलो
down
मैं चला
to try and get the
कैसे
2
हो
kills.
बढ़िया
These are the
एकदम बढ़िया
squishiest targets, and you have to use so many resources.
Yeah, they threw everything. But Danny, finding that backline, once he shows up, he's like that superhero, right? And he was able to find enough, and they were able to kind of take them down because of his damage. And again, Danny has been the guy. If he's nearby, you just got to run, if you will.
Yeah, man, this is the byproduct,
Oh,
right?
wait.
Hang on.
Oh, they find Tempest. The nice little charge back. Mena trying to control, but the Raging Sea is going to be on point. They find Tempest. Doofy doing a little bit of work, but he's going to be whittled down by Leffy, trying to focus him down. SAUL are going to just walk away. Emerge just barely misses Doofy.
And why did Influence Rage take that fight? Take a look at the top side of the map, right? They not only get the split push going in, quite a bit of damage.
Big
on the
fan
team.
autograph
And right
मिलेगा.
now they could be
Hello,
looking for more.
autograph दे रहा हूँ.
Kong needs to move away. In fact, the rest of them, Keltizi as well as Doofy, they have to be really careful
लो.
with Extreme. get away from this
Auto
position
map.
is so dangerous.
Oh, so dangerous with Danny there. Mena getting a little bit low. The
Pen-
charge on
pencil
back.
bana
Danny
ke
now
dekha
getting
hu to
focused
bro.
here. He's a bit on the
Hello.
squishier side. He's going to use the healing too, but SAUL finding ways to get back in. I mean, they're, taking the fight to him.
4,000 gold difference in advantage to Influence Rage. Not bad for being in this position.
नेहा
with Try and
आपको
hang on.
वेज
8.5
पसंद है या
minutes,
नॉन
this is
वेज
a tyrant, the normal tyrant,
नेहा
not
को
the
सिर्फ
enhanced
मैं
one,
पसंद
so
हूँ
it's still
nothing
okay
else
for the side of
बोल दो
Influence
नेहा
Rage. Big question now is, what is the mental state here, right? It feels like they have the ability to recover, but do they even get the chance? Because Influence Rage, they
बोल दो
still
नेहा
have a good control of the map.
But taking
आज
the
बोल
tyrant
ही
is
दो
just like a baby step towards the right direction in terms of how this game is looking to go, at least if you're an SAUL fan. That's what you want to do. You got to win the little things to compound it into something much bigger. Miriam get focused here. The creation blocks are going to do it a little bit more, but not enough to take him down there under the mid T1.
Oh, Goofy.
All the stuns, oh, they're
बाप रे, इतना
absolutely
low
real.
speed.
He's getting whittled.
क्यों
and
जा
now
रहा है
it
वो
looks like
इतनी low
Miriam
speed
tried to
पे?
go all in, but Lappy finds him. Tempest is going to be traded away. It's a clash for clash. And now Danny, he's going to just back on off on this one. They're going to be happy with that trade.
It's a full trade of resources as well, but the ultimates are
मेरे
coming
को
back
नाना
off
पसंद है
cooldown.
बस
Danny
बस
already has his. Meanwhile, Extreme and Goofy
बस
have theirs.
हो गया
But Goofy is so
Diana
low.
भूल
Goofy,
गया
I feel like he needs to take less damage. He's getting the vision, sure, but can do it without getting hit.
Yeah, I think that Doofy is thinking the same thing. He's like, I need to take less damage, but they just keep focusing me, right? I think the game plan is definitely there, but now, I mean, if anything, it's about that vision game. Just like
ओके नाना मैं भी
tracking
चलता
where the
हूँ
enemy team is.
सब कहाँ जा रहे हैं
This
सब
is a
कहाँ जा रहे
2-2
हैं
for free on
चुपचाप
the
बैठे
side of
रहो
Influence Rage.
Stream
Goofy does not have the madness as well to get his ultimate off. So, you know what? Taking a T1 at the top, that's the best they can do. I like it.
कोई कहीं नहीं
You'll take
जाएगा
what you can get, right, in terms of that spacing. I mean, Tempest is there. You'll kind of clear. This is a numbers advantage in the mid lane. It looks like Miriam trying to go in. Mena looking to duel on this one, and now with that Raging Sea off to the side, they find Kong. The burst is real, and Doofy, too, will fall. Kilteezy not able to pick off it looks like Mena. He's going to survive, but Kilteezy taking a lot of damage. Is he able to get away? That was a baby Universal Law, and Tempest on the prowl with the Formless. Not quick enough.
He was looking good at it. He had the true mantra. He had the flash as well. I knew what was coming. And you know what? Tempest said, chill out, guys. We don't take too many unnecessary risks here.
Yeah, and now with this Overlord, and it looks like they want the Tyrant. They're going to go for both at the same time. Very greedy, but when you've got two members down and this lead, I think it's okay for Influence.
एक बात बताओ नाना
Double
बोलो ना
BJ, I love to see this. It shows you to what
बोलो
extent,
नया
like Danny, he's also making sure they don't have the primal bond. This is what you should do if you want a double objective. That's enhanced
Wow.
version, shadow variants, by the way.
Yeah, synchronized, a big neutral taking, right? That was the perfect
दोनों
way,
का
but
timing
again,
देखा
DJ
था
can
उन्होंने
break this one down.
मालिक
this is all
ऑफिस में
down to
हूँ
Miriam,
बॉस
right?
ने
He
देखा
wanted to
मेरे को
get the setup. Good idea, but that Matrix
अच्छा
coming in from the side of Fury, that was so
अच्छा
monumental in the fight, allowing
तो
for a
बोल दो
lot of
ऑफिस
damage coming in with
में
Annihilation as well.
बॉस
Miriam a
को
little bit
स्ट्रीम
low.
देखना
Danny not enough damage to take him
इसमें क्या
down, but
हुआ
SAUL tucked
स्ट्रीम
him
देखने
one.
में
They
क्या
hide
बुरी
under the
बात
top T3 here, but Influence Rage
मेरे को
not
लगता
looking
है
to give this up.
गाइस
They have at least the
ये
siege
मैच
catapult.
12-13
Do they have
मिनट
enough
में
damage
खत्म
to
हो
take it
जाएगा
down? They do not.
I mean, at this point, they have to trade
तुम
health
किसी
points
को
for
भी
the defense.
बोलो
Yes.
Right? And that's not a good
वाइप
situation. It
लेके
means
आने
you fight unfairs.
तो
And Influence
इंसान
Rage, they take the
को
T3 in the middle. This is going to open up the doors. This might be the last fight here.
Yeah, the Shadow Vanguard is in the bottom lane as well. Kong
किसी को
trying to
भी
deal with that
बोलो
Vanguard. That will slow things down at least for now. Top lane, that was the big push. They
समझे
take
नहीं
the
मैंने
top
यार क्या
T3.
बोल रहे
Okay,
हो
now Kong does have the Blood Rage. This might be a, what?
क्या बोल रहे हो समझे
The
नहीं मैं
smallest of advantages, I hope. But
नहीं समझे
SAUL on their last legs. This is the last T3. It looks like it's going to be taken down.
Yeah, Mena just walking forward. Miriam just getting slowly picked off. The Raging Sea is going to be committed. The shield
मालिक
are on
लाइट
point.
चालू कर दो
And now
मालिक
with
मैं
that
स्ट्रीम कर रहा
annihilation, They
हूँ
do find Miriam, and now Kong, he too will fall. Doofy getting a little bit low, and he will fall as
वाह
well. They've taken the forward members
हाँ तो बोल
down.
दो ना कि
And now
स्ट्रीम
Kilteezy
मैं
not
स्ट्रीम
able
देख
to
रहा हूँ
do
उसको
so.
कौन
It
सी
looks
बड़ी
like
बात
Influence Rage are going
स्ट्रीम
to take
देखने में
game number 2 in this series.
Upper bracket secure. Now the strongest teams have made it work in this part of the day, which
ये
means
ले
they will
मैच
be
हार गए ये
going
लोग
up against Buriram United Esports.
Yeah, and I think that they're going to be super happy with that result on this one. Influence Rage coming to play 2-0 very quickly, if you will, but that was looking like a team that was on the next level here.
मैच हार
They
गए
said they were ready for the
क्या ही
international
बोलूं
stage, and Kaiba said they wanted more, and this is exactly what I want to see out of Influence Rage. Good start.
very good start. It couldn't be better, right? But at the same time, SAUL, they had their moments. Let's not
Upset
discourage what they
थोड़े
did. They were able to find it out,
disappoint
but
है
again,
थोड़े
just too much influence rage in the end.
Yep. I mean, this is their first
कोई बात
international,
नहीं
right? So this is a
better
good
luck
learning
next time
experience. Not many people get to go to the international stage as a training ground, you know, right? First major event, you're in Paris, right here on the big stage. This is going to be an important lesson, and they need to recover fast.
Very quickly. There's no other time. We have one more series. You lose that one, you're going home. So if anything, right now, you got to just kind of shake things up and get back into it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for match number 2. Influence Range
मैं
is going
किसी
to
को
be the
बोली
winners.
invite
Influence
लेकर
Range is going to move forward in the upper bracket, and today they're going to be playing against Buriram United Esports for that first ticket into
वाह
the
नया
group
वाह
stage.
वाह
And the
वाह
both of
वाह
them on how they exactly played the series, it was very
यार
very
नया
similar
मुझे
in a
oily
very
skin के लिए कुछ बताओ
dominating
यार
fashion for both Buriram
Why
and
my
also
screen is so
side
oily?
of
Can you
Influence
see?
Rage, where
हर
they choke out their opponent's true
15%
map
like
resources,
feels
forcing them to
like
take uncomfortable fights,
oily.
and then that 10-minute mark when it hits, they clean up the game easily.
तुम तो
And you gotta
डॉक्टर हो
say,
भाई
when we
तुम्हें
go
तो सब
into that
पता
upper
होगा
bracket later to decide the
डॉक्टर्स को
first
तो सब
group
पता
A
होता है
spot into the play-
स्किन
group
ऑयली
stage.
क्यों होती
That's
है
gonna be
क्या
interesting because
होता है
it's really
सब
hard to predict who's gonna win out.
Of course, no, but before we jump into what's going to happen into that upper bracket, right? Let's just put our eyes into S8UL, right? They had some moments, some sparks of really top level performance in this game as well, right?
Yeah, they did. They did. I mean, the draft-wise, I mean, going into a best of 3, there's so many more better picks I feel like you could have gone for. Obviously, like the Zhang Yu here into the Clash lane. I mean, what are you really doing, right? What are you charging into? You're charging into a creation block of the newer? Like, what do we want to really achieve here with this Clash lane pick? It didn't seem like it was actually coming into fruition here. And in terms of, obviously, like, the actual tempo of, like, scaling, mid-game, it was kind of, like, all over the place.
Yeah, that was a good point, right? Like, they actually saved it in as one of the last few pickups here.
ये
And
first
this is some
fight
of the
बहुत
highlights
खतरनाक
coming in
थी।
from game 1, where that wombo combo coming in from Mena on that zombie Unbridled Outburst, connecting with Tempest with that Razor Cavalry was just so beautiful for that specific play. And Leffy, I don't know, buddy, that healing deal is probably not for you.
Yeah, Leffy should have gone righty, right? Like, he should have definitely stayed away from that T1 turret down to the bot side. But there were some actual, like, there were some good things here for Soleil, right? They were trying to set up the team fights, obviously, there with Doofy, but it just all fell apart. They were able to compose it here onto the side of Influence Rage.
And I like the fact that you pointed out, like last year, it was Danny's year in playing those utility junglers, those tanky bruiser styles, but coming into this specific series, man, he's improved. He brought back the Jing, he brought back the Ukyo Tachibana here, and both of the games, 0 deaths occurred for this jungle player.
His identity has
वाह
always been
क्या
like
बात
that,
है
right?
नाना
He's
का
always been an assassin.
knowledge
He's always in the jungle, getting the resources, trying to get
knowledge
the
है
kills.
आपका
That is exactly the Danny that
डॉक्टर
we know.
मतलब स्किन
Absolutely.
का
I mean,
सब
to be
पता
honest, though, did we
हाँ
expect anything different
नहीं तो
here
क्या।
from Influence Rage? And I
हमारे
mean,
यहाँ
yes,
ऐसे ही
obviously,
होता है
they go up against Soleil Esports. They do dominate in a 2-0 fashion, but the bar for that domination isn't quite obviously what they're going to be reaching into this next phase, right? Obviously, Buriram United really showed some great colors and really big promises here.
S8UL is going to be working their way up tomorrow to try to keep alive in the tournament. But what about if we go on stage right now? Mara got Danny that is going to break through this everything that just happened in this game. Mara, please go.
We're here with Danny from Influence Rage. Congratulations. In both games, you were amazing. But you know, what really struck out to us was game number 1. You finished it in 8 minutes. You did not allow your opponent to get any objectives or any tower. So what was the key to having this high level of map control?
I think it's because like the matchup against them, like we have a lot of experience, so the difference between us and them, like in this series, I think is the experience. So that's why like we just smashed the game like in 8 minutes because they are new in this game, right? They are playing like for 3 months, I think. So yeah, in the second game, I feel it's gonna be like the same, was to be the same, but yeah, we made a lot of mistakes.
But it was great that you're also acknowledging the experience of your opponent. And what we also noticed was that for every pick, before every objective, you got a pick. And how important was it for your team to have this level of aggressive play style to have such a convincing win?
Yeah, this is the style that we like it to play also in Brazil. We are
ना
an
आज
aggressive
मैच
team,
है
so we
मोमो
like to fight a lot. We like to invade. We like to fight like for everything for the TPs. So yeah, this is the style of our region, I think. So yeah, that's the difference.
And with that, fight, 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 we're gonna see another one later on. So Influence Rage, your team, will go up against Buriram United as our 5th match of the day. And we want to see and hear about your honest predictions for that one.
I mean, Buriram United for sure. They are like a really great team. They are also champions in their game. So yeah, I expected that series gonna be like a really good series. But for sure, we are ready with
मैं
training
नहीं
a lot.
देख रही हूँ
And we are in my house,
मैं
right? We are in
HOK के
Chowkay.
matches देख रही हूँ
So we're gonna win and we're gonna to the group stage.
Let's invite the viewers to support you later.
So thank you very much, you guys. You guys are supporting our team a lot. You guys are
She's
sending
cute.
message every time. So yeah, we're gonna try our best in the next match and we're gonna to the group stage. So thank you very much and keep support us.
Danny, as always, you're amazing. Once again, congratulations, and we'll see you for the 5th match. You heard it from Danny, and now we're gonna hear from our casters. Lead the gorge.
With total class and an amazing sportsmanship feeling right over there, Danny just breaked it up on what it was. Like once upon a time, there were the teams that they had months only of experience, and right now, after years and years of clashes, they have gained experience to right now be
चलता
the
बॉस
ones
बुला
to
रहे हैं
lead the
कहीं
gorge,
जाना
as
है ओके
Mara
ओके
also was saying.
HOK
Ladies and
वाले
gentlemen, we're
boss
gonna jump into a short break, and after we come back, we're gonna have our next game that is gonna have non-shield
kind
Red
of
Force
real
and OG
kind of
Esports.
real Nia. Honestly huh. Like equal respect to every single person we will deserve. Equal request, like request करो या कुछ भी करो, respect करो. Equal, yeah. They treat every person equal. There's not liking. Happy streaming. Good day. Thank you. You too. Wish you same. Regarding हाँ हाइप बढ़ाने के लिए बंदे मैं इस पे कुछ नहीं बोलना चाहती हूँ ऑनेस्टली बोलूँ नया बट मैं प्रीटी श्योर थी ये होने वाला है ये होगा ये जिस हिसाब से चीज़ें चली होने वाली जब तक ऐड चालू है दूसरा काम निपटा लेती हूँ फटाफट है ना चालू हो गया वाह यार
Group B. And who do we have over there in Group B? Two teams that they do not need any introduction. Nongshim Red Force against OG Esports.
Yep, before we actually jump back in towards it, right, we have this specific tournament bracket here where Brunei United Esports took down Team Flash in a 2-0 fashion, and in Group A itself, we also saw how Influence Rage dismantled SAUL Esports in that game just now.
So big moments from Group A. Now we head into Group B. Nongshim Red Force going to go up against OG Esports. This one breaks my heart because I love both teams, but they are not the only ones causing me heartbreak. It's going to be Deep Cross Gaming going up against Blacklist International. Difficult matchup for sure.
I feel like Group B as a whole, you can never get your predictions right because all these teams are pretty 50-50 in terms of their strength. And for the upcoming match for Group B, Nongshim Red Force takes on OG Esports in Group B's opening here, Isaac.
Yeah, that's going to be our Crunchyroll topic for today, right? They meet for the first time again in an international tournament. So I am really looking forward to see if this is going to be the first time that the IKL is going to have their revenge against Nongshim Red Force, right?
There is a first for everything, so maybe today is that day. But I also want to talk about how this team is constructed, right? We talked about the replacements that Nongshim Red Force has done throughout the second half of 2025, coming into 2026. A lot of big changes for them, and those changes have brought them a certain level of success. OG, on the other hand, the 5 different teams, 5 different members, did they produce the same result?
I mean, you gotta look at it from a perspective, right? Where Nongshim Red Force, yes, 2 members out. We have Ratel and also Namu as the new players here. And then you look towards the side OG. They moved from previously known as KMW, now KML, to IKL with their star player Dao Dao. And it has been going pretty okay thus far, where they've been finding wins, they've been finding momentum, but they ended 3rd in IKL. So if you're 3rd in IKL, can you beat KML's 2nd place?
I mean, numbers are very important, right? And but these numbers keep changing. That's the thing. OG Esports, as they walk their way to the stage, can they find the confidence to break Nongshim Red Force apart?
And to talk about this specific roster, right? Yes, it's coming from different players, different background, coaches, and everything. But if you look and dive deep in towards it, Cruz, their coach, he was top 8 last year with Bigatron by Vitality, and Dao Dao with OG, top 8 as well, and Neil, also Bigatron by Vitality. So you actually have a lot of players coming in towards this roster that has sufficient competitive experience in a top level.
Okay, I agree. Yes, you have the quality, but you have to find the balance. The flavor is so important. It needs to be just right. And Nongshim, I feel like they have found that exact flavor. The heat, the spice, the different rotations. I mean, it feels like cooking a pot of noodles at this point. But yeah, they have been cooking so far for Nongshim Red Force, and I like this roster.
And to go back in time slightly, right? When was the last time we saw OG Esports? It was all the way back in March or April when IKL was still happening here. So it has been, what, 4 months since their last gameplay. But for Nongshim Red Force, they represented Republic of Korea back in Asian Games qualifiers, and they look amazing here. So it's about available information versus delayed information that has been not available for quite a while now.
Of course, we have seen OG Esports already, like, they have had a little bit of a sabbatical already for some time. That could work into different ways, right? Like, they could have actually just spent all of this time just trying to work their way into understanding the meta for this KWC 2026. On the other hand, we could always just think about, like, is this Nongshim Red Force that has been competing a lot more right now, is that going to give them an advantage or not?
I'm
एक सेकंड
going to talk about a very small piece of information.
ये क्या है
Okurus
और ये बैन
used
बता
to
तो
be
रही है
a
टूर्नामेंट चल रही है
professional AOV player. So he has some information for OG. So I'm wondering if he's going to take what he has seen just now from the Buriram and Flash games, as well as the Influence Rage and SAUL games, and bring us to a completely different world for this best of three.
Let's just spot like the coaches for a bit, right? Like, because both of them have very different styles. They have a very strong identity, and they coach their teams in very different ways, right?
Yes. For me, I think Coach YK, which is the coach coming in from Nongshim Red Force, is about discipline, doing things at the correct timing here. And the draft is actually very, I would say, stable and static here. Like, you pick A, I counter with B, and then we slowly pace off with the global ban picks here. But for Cruz, you've seen his games back in Bigatron by Vitality here. Zhuangzi Jungle, Marco Polo, Farm Lane. weird picks all
मैं
around.
कितना आजू है
They
मेरे को
work to
stream
a certain
करके.
extent, but that's the thing that makes this person special coming in from the side of OG Esports. It's his flexibility in actually taking on the blame for his
कैसे हो?
team
मैं
for
बढ़िया, आप
draft
कैसे
mistakes,
हो?
but with mistakes there's also
Welcome.
risk, and with
मेरे को
risk
stream
there's
चालू
also
हुए
high
कितना
rewards.
घंटा हुआ
I
है?
mean, that's a responsibility,
Check
right?
करने दो.
You give
और कितने
the
matches हैं?
tools for the team, but it's
Second
up to
check
the
कर रहा हूँ.
players to be able to execute the
stream
movements
चालू
to
होके
perfection.
मुझे
And I feel like the hero pools, I want to just
2
be
hours हुआ है.
going into the jungle.
मतलब अभी थोड़ी
The
मैच
Haku
बाकी है,
against
complete
the
कर लेंगे
jungler
हम.
Dao Dao, that one's interesting because
Complete
both
कर
heroes,
लेंगे.
they have very deep hero pools.
Yeah, and towards this point, right, I think as we watch so many games of Nongshim Red Force throughout the years, I feel like Nongshim Red Force,
बलो
for
आजा.
Haku, there's one specific hero
नहीं.
that he doesn't have in his
बलो
pool,
नहीं है मेरे
Jing,
पे.
which
Ah.
Dao
बढ़िया
Dao
Jing.
100% has.
Okay, maybe we won't get to see the Jing though, because I think Dao Dao is more comfortable on the Luna.
बलो नहीं है मेरे पे.
Okay. And yeah, both junglers are pretty comfortable with the Luna here. We've seen highlight reels from them back in the KME, KMW days, so maybe coming in forward towards this draft here, Luna might be one of the specific picks to look out for, but in terms of the traditional drafting style, I still feel that Pei, Aoyin, these are definitely top tier, and then the AOV hero starts coming in. Florentino has been banned, what? In almost every single game, and we have yet to see a single appearance of it, and every time there is a Lorien, it has been showing amazing performance thus far in this tournament.
I like the fact that it's 0% show rate for Florentino, but it seems to be 100% win rate, if I'm not wrong, for all the Lorien games we have seen so far, right? So the moment you pick Lorien, you win the game. Let's hope that that stat continues, because I want to see more Lorien games. It's really interesting how they use that total of, what, 2 seconds of CC. It's an instant delete button.
And towards this specific pick of Lorien, right? Yes, it may seem like a very strong pick. It is. I have it ranked
Download
like
कर.
0.5 to 0.
Space नहीं है.
Okay.
This hero is exceptionally good that you can pick it in the first phase. I believe in a longer series format in the BO5 and BO7,
yeah.
this hero either highly pick or almost 100% pick and ban. Now, what kind of heroes counters Lorien here? Based on my conversation with some of these pro teams, they mentioned like hard engage like Maestro Nui, hard engage like a Guan Yu, for example. These things are what you can actually try to dissect the Lorien pick.
Yes, and you know, one of the discussion points we have, besides the mid lane matchup of Lorien, we expected him to be picked quite a lot.
आप मेरे
It's
को
also
अपना आईडी
about
गिफ्ट
the
कर दो.
roam.
वैसे भी आप
So
कहाँ खेलते?
on the
नहीं.
roam side, you know, we talked about
नहीं.
Kui coming into play in this meta. I have not seen a single
delete कर.
Kui today.
अरे?
Can I please be blessed with one game?
बलो
Just
बोर
one.
लगता है
I
मुझे
feel like
honestly
Kuwait, I will
बोलो.
definitely 100% want to see it here, and if it's anywhere, it's definitely going to be here because Namu has picked it a lot of times before in clutch games. But Isaac, what do you think?
यार
I really look
last
forward
match
to the Quay, man. Like the Quay is one of those
Soul
heroes that I
हार
just
गई.
enjoy so much watching. Like just the ability that it has, like the way that
बुरा
you
लगा
use
देख के.
that hero with the hooks. But well, maybe they will let us watch it. Maybe they won't. Holler, Nora, let's take
262
it from
कितना
here.
कितने
Thank you
पे
so much,
हरी
Isaac, as we
सोल
go
लास्ट
into, of
में?
course, the third series. This one has
210
been
पे हरी
a
ना?
lot of hype, especially when we're talking about the play-ins. And my name is Holler. With me is Noah.
नहीं
I'm
लगा,
so
मजा
happy to
आएगा.
be here with you on the desk. But your thoughts
मैंने
on
की
these
थी
two
बीच में
teams?
डाउनलोड मजाक सेट
my
के
thoughts
बोलूं
on
मैंने
these
की
two
थी
teams is
डाउनलोड.
that it's
मुझे
kind of
बोर
like a
हुआ
deja
मैंने
vu
डिलीट
for,
कर दी फिर.
the EWC last year because they actually met up against each other last year in the group final for the
एक
first
मिनट.
round, and that was a 2-0 goes to OG. So again, this time Nongxing face against OG again, first played in EWC this year, while they make their revenge on OG.
Oh, is it revenge? Is it bad blood? What? How are the? I mean, going in, the rosters are slightly different from when we did see them in that rematch, right? But
True.
I think that at the end of the day, OG, you still have Dao Dao, which we know is
Yes.
one of the strongest players on the team. They've leveled up, I would say, with Amcorus as coach. I like OG in general.
नहीं,
I mean, the
DOC.
fact that they got here, I think it was a little bit of a surprise, if you will.
Yeah, well, I feel like they are definitely like a jungler core playstyle. So this time they definitely put
कौन?
a lot of strengths on
वेलो
Dao Dao
बोरिंग है.
again, since
कौन
he
मोटा
already
है?
got like 12
Ben?
MVPs back into the springtime. So definitely, yeah. And I would say maybe Nongxing,
Man.
they were kind of restricted
Man.
the heroes on
Man,
the side
man,
of
man.
OG.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that Nongshim's on the other side. You're talking about jungler. Let's talk about the other side. It's Haku, right?
Yes.
He also is a very aggressive one. I don't know in terms of like level, if he's the same level as Dao Dao, but he's still, I would say the team success revolves around his play, correct?
Yes, I totally agree with you. So I'm looking forward to seeing like both assassin jungler play against each other.
Okay.
And for the BP phase, actually we can see Mai will be the first one, goes over to Nongshim Red Force. While Illusion, he's definitely gonna be the shot caller of the game.
Yes, and actually this is one of his signature heroes.
Yes.
He will almost always pick this one because again, the Mai Shiranui, there are many reasons to like her, but she's also about that tempo.
Yeah.
Illusion loves to play these types of mobile, high damage type of mid laners, if you will.
Yes, I feel like he's always gonna pick Mai every time, each game. But Lorian's been so popular right now so far in EWC, and it's actually doing well.
Yeah, it's actually done very well. It's funny because it's been available even in the Asia Games qualifier, but no teams were really willing to pick it. But we've seen it time and time again. Every single series, it's been first phase picked. It is incredibly strong. I mean, even in my own ranked games, the Lorian hero absolutely destroys. So, I mean, seeing it on the big stage, your thoughts on this?
Well, I feel like maybe it's because it's kind of new, so teams and also the players need time to get to know this hero more throughout the game, and also because of its long attacking range and also the burst out damage coming from this Lorian, so it can do both good in the laning and also in the teamfight.
Yes, it adds quite a bit, right? A lot of flexibility. That orb and that damage is unreal.
Yeah.
It kind of controls things. But if we're looking on the other side, Nongshim's lineup, I mean, the Aaron, the Zhang Fei, the Mai, these are more traditional Honor of Kings esports heroes, correct?
Yes, and it's pretty solid, I would say.
Agreed.
Like, you can never go wrong with the Zhang Fei pick, and also with this Irene. Well, I do like the Irene pick because it's kind of just guarantee the output through the team fight. So I would say Nongshim Red Force is looking for a very well-rounded composition for this
Agreed. And I think that it's funny because they see the Arlie. They know that, you know, on the other side, it's going to do definitely its own damage from a Hem.
Yeah.
But the Aaron has kind of risen in popularity in terms of like a counter. It has that like homing missile, if you will, but it has definitely play. But your thoughts on the Aaron overall?
Yes, I feel like Aaron is kind of like a safety pick because Arlie, definitely you can manipulate this hero in a more artistic way. But if you just go for small mistakes and everything might just fall up because of the Arlie pick.
Okay. And it looks like they're going to go with the Guan Yu, a little bit more of that control, because you know that if they're going to jump on top of you, you have that Razor Cavalry, push them away, kind of make things very easy, especially when you're talking about a Lorian with those orbs, to kind of be in that bad spot. And you want to control the battlefield as much as possible. So the Guan Yu always tried and true in the Clash lane.
And I do think this Guan Yu might be the pivot of the whole composition goes to OG, because we mentioned about how well-rounded that Nongshim is trying to form up with their format, but like for this Guan Yu pick, he can easily disrupt about this Irene and just kind of being such a great threat among the team.
नहीं.
All right, it looks like the last two picks have been locked in by Nongshim Red Force here. Umbrosa and the Ying. And we've seen Haku love this hero Ying. It's definitely done quite a bit, but the Ratel Umbrosa has actually added a nice wrinkle into this lineup as well.
True, and also a lot of players thought Umbrosa can be such a great counter pick towards this Guan Yu because you can do good at the laning phase, and also because of the poking damage coming from this Umbrosa, and also you can easily get attached to this early during the team fight. So I do think Umbrosa might be the hero for Nongshim this time.
All right, and now it looks like OG are going to finalize their draft, picking up the Kaiser here. They're going to go as tanky as possible to kind of deal with this, to be that frontliner. But in terms of draft, though, who are you giving the edge to?
Wow, it's very hard to say actually, because for this Kaiser pick, if he really do this Kaiser well, you know, when the Kaiser is using his ulti, then he can actually block a great amount of damage dealt by this Umbrosa and also by this Irene.
Okay.
So if he play it in a wise way, I would say I would put my money on OG this time.
Okay, you're gonna put money down? All right, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not here to gamble, but I think that I do like the idea of the draft. I think it's very smart. The Lorian and the Arlie will definitely be doing a lot of the damage. You have so many guys to like CC. You've got crowd control in terms of like moving people around as well. So it adds a lot of ticks on the boxes, if you will. But if we're looking at the other side, the Nongshim one, for me, it's about this Umbrosa and the Ying.
Yes.
Are they able to find some of the squishier, like the Lorian and the Arlie here?
Well, I think like the Impic, the main point about this Impic is trying to get her eyes on this Guan Yu and try to block Guan Yu away during the team fight.
Okay, all right, we're gonna find out. This is the third series of the day, game number 1. OG
ये क्या दिखा रहे हो
Notion
भैया?
Red Force,
Game
who
दिखाओ।
will be moving on to the upper brackets in these play-ins. Incredibly scary, and already we're gonna start with a little bit of action in this mid lane.
A lot of skirmishes can already be seen in the mid lane.
Kind of.
And actually, I'm really curious about how strong that Group B can be. Because we've seen all the matches performed by Group A, and it all end up with a 2-0.
Yeah. So, I mean, Group A has been nothing but 2 zeros. I will find out in the next, the upper bracket in terms of just who's going to just kind of move on with that. But I think for me, Group B is the group of death, I would say, in the play-ins. I think the teams are a little bit more on a different level. Not to say that Group A are bad or anything. It's just that the competitive level is much higher, I would say, in Group B.
Yeah, I feel like players are more experienced.
Yes. Yeah, and as we go in, it looks like to this bottom lane, for me, obviously Dao Dao is that guy, right? The Kaiser, though, but it's not a really, like an assassin style. So
Yeah.
he's going to be looking to keep him alive, and I think that it's more of like a protect composition, if you will.
And the shortage about this Kaiser pick is that it's not that efficient about his farming in the jungle.
मार सकते
So
हैं
that
ये।
might cause a big problem in the early game of OG.
Okay, all right. But now, if we're talking about the Nongshim side, who is the one guy you're like, okay, he has to have a good game?
Well, Umbrosa definitely
Okay,
Rittel, and
okay.
also he's the new one to Nongxing, right? Compared their roster to last year. So I'm looking forward to the synergy between Rittel and also Hakun.
Yeah. I actually like that, right? Because Rittel, again, he was kind of coming in for Kyung-9. You were like, where's he going to be able to fit in? If we're talking about S4, didn't have the greatest start because, again, he was trying to, you have to play on the international level, like right away.
True.
It was a lot of pressure for him, but it looks like Rittel and Namu right now are really gelled with this team.
Yes, and you can see like how aggressively that Rittel is playing right now. Because as I said, a lot of players thought like Umbrosa can be a great counter-attack towards this Guan Yu pick.
Oh, Siri gets knocked up. He gets control, but the shields are on point. Namu with the pushback onto 663, who takes some tower shots, but he too will survive. But OG, I like this aggressive play.
क्या
Yes, and
save
because
लिया
of the
भाई?
Lorian, he can actually win the lane of the mid, so he rotate down fastly and make it to a 3-1 skirmishes happening at the farm lane.
Okay, let's talk a little bit. You already pointed out Rittel, right, on this Umbrosa. But in terms of lane matchup, how does it do against the Guan Yu overall?
Well, I think Umbrosa can do great against this Guan Yu pick. So, and also Umbrosa can actually support to his team members faster than this Guan Yu around 4 minutes mark.
Okay. And I think in terms of these team fights, with like Illusion and Rittel jumping in, will really kind of create a little bit of chaos,
Yes.
especially on this back line. And so Ihans and Dao Dao, they need to be on point. They need to ensure that they're like the perfect security guards for like a Hem and Neil at the end.
Yes, and also they need to guarantee the vision is pretty clean for this early around this 4 minute.
Yes. By the way, what role do you play?
Wow, mid.
Okay, you're mid. Okay. Are you a Mai?
Well, I
player?
could, maybe.
Okay. All right.
Or I can be the Xiao Chao.
Okay.
Like simple.
Yes,
ठीक है ठीक है
yes,
ठीक है
excellent,
DOC.
excellent. Okay, but now in
Then,
terms of this like mid-game matchup, right? I mean, the Mai on the one side, the Lorian, like how does Neil deal with Illusion as a Mai here?
Well, I think Mike can be the first hand to, just open the skirmishes. But
Okay.
for Lorian, you need to make sure that you poke enough and then use your skill 3 to dash in.
Got it. Okay, so it looks like the setup has been there. I mean, this 4-minute Tyrant is about to be started. Namu with the vision, but it looks like both sides right now really not looking to fully contest here. As
Yes.
OG, again, they're just like tethering it, but Dao Dao's not even close to this Tyrant.
And because it's too early for both teams to, just rush the dragon because the damage out is definitely not enough. They need to scale up a little bit more.
Okay.
So they are a little bit hesitant about whether they're gonna go for this dragon or not.
Got it.
They're kind of afraid of if they just wait all their skills onto this dragon, how they're gonna handle the team fight come afterward.
Okay. But it looks like they're going to start the Tyrant here, and they
Yeah.
want to put the
Ooh, bike
pressure
वाला
on the
देखना।
Nongshim to have to sort of react. The Tyrant getting very low. The Umbrella Outburst is not enough. They've already taken the Tyrant. Ahem will take that one out, and now Dao Dao is going to be backing off. OG get that right pick off, and Nongshim left wanting.
Well, you feel like OG, they have their own pace, even though we haven't seen any kills happen right now yet. But you can see like they're waiting for Dao Dao coming into this camp and try to guarantee the dragon for them in the early game.
Yeah, the spacing was actually on point, right? The way that they were able to take it, because Nongshim, it seemed like, oh crap, they're starting it, we need to get there, and they were too late. OG with a perfect fortified area, ensuring that they secured it. There was no 50-50 smite battle.
True. So it's pretty much like OG, they are presetting for this dragon.
True. And now Nongshim on this other side, like this is, we knew it was gonna be close, but the net worth is still in favor of Nongshim of all things. But now here comes the Razor Cavalry. They actually find him, and Haku trying to get under the tower. He will be fine, but first blood is gonna happen elsewhere as Namu does fall. But Dao Dao fighting 1 versus 2. They're gonna continue with that, but OG taking the bottom T1.
And you can see like the same trick that OG did against 3 versus 2 with this Nil coming up down and help to get that winning lane at the bottom.
Yeah, actually huge, right? Taking down Namu and then taking the tower. OG right now, that is a huge win. That's going to open things up in terms of spacing. Nongshim right now they have to respond in some fashion.
Yes.
All right, but now back into this mid lane they go. I think Illusion, one thing I haven't seen too much is that he's not really rotating too much. He's kind of just sticking with it. It seems like OG are kind of spotting out where Illusion is at all times.
And the detail about that is because you can see every time when the minions coming into the mid lane, Dao Dao is always being there. So it's always going to be a 2 versus 1. So Mai and Illusion can't really get control of the mid lane.
Bitter farewell. Oh, the nice pushback. The ult was unreal by Namu, but he's going to be whittled. He's going to be focused down. Ihan's not able to find the right target. OG, again, they're trying to fight, but they can't find the right target.
I mean, like a nice ulti down by Namu, but the problem is that not sufficient for the burst out damage coming out from Nongshim, because we mentioned about how important Ambrosia should be there.
True.
But you can see, after the skirmishes happened, actually the positioning is not that well for Nongshim.
Yeah, they weren't able to. I mean, the positioning, I mean, yeah, they had to run. They couldn't really take that team fight, but that created space for Siri to take the bottom T1. So overall a win, I think that they're going to be happy with that at least.
Yes.
All right, now into the top lane they go. OG, they will continue with this push. Nongshim have responded in kind, but the biggest factor for me is that how the game is going to go is based on these mid T1s. Both of them are still standing. Net worth is literally neck and neck.
Yes, and also the split and push might be very important in the middle game.
Yes. And now it looks like they're going to be aggressive here. 663 with that bitter farewell. He heartlinks on back to safety. He will be fine, but Nongshim again, you got to protect your jungle as much as possible here.
You can actually feel like Nongshim is trying to make something happen, but the problem is that you can't find their target appropriately.
Yes, you can't find it at all. I mean, Dao Dao right there, he was not able to take the Azor, couldn't even attempt to go for the smite because it was hidden away in that brush. Too dangerous for him. Dao Dao is just looking to stay alive.
That's true. And also, like OG, they are separated and they are making things happen simultaneously.
Yes.
At the top, at the bottom. So that kind of just makes some trouble for Nongshim.
Yeah, and that's the spacing, right? That's
Yes.
how good teams are going to play, because they're going to put pressure from all different angles, and like what side is going to actually crumble. And I think that OG have responded correctly, I would say.
Yes.
All right, now it looks like the Azure Golem is going to be taken away. Dao Dao looking to go in. He's a little angry. He's going to be pushing on back, and it looks like Neil gets a little bit low. He's trying to stay alive on that side, but they find Haku. The pickoff has been real. Ihans is looking to run away. Ahem is going to sacrifice his own life, fighting 1 versus 3, but double kill on his way out. It looks like it's a 2-for-1 thus far, but 663 so low, he too will fall. Siri gets that pickoff, and he's going to get under the tower. They turned it around. It was just bait, and they find Dao Dao as well.
We saw like Nongshim might fall apart after the attack happened, but the thing is that Siri survived throughout the team fight and dealt like sufficient burst out damage to this team. And this might be the turning point of the game, I mean.
That was definitely, it's looking to be like the tipping point, right? I think that if you're not able to kill Siri, why are we fighting, right?
Yes.
I mean, Haku, it's going to attract a lot, but again, Nora, please break this down.
Well, I mean like nice controllability coming from In this time. He actually guaranteed that Irene could be in a very safe place at the first beginning. So you can see like no damage actually is dealt to the Siri. So he can play in such a comfortable way. And everyone just played around with Siri and just pushing forward.
And it also didn't seem like Ahem was finding Siri, right?
Yes.
Like he needs to just focus on him. Illusion and Haku are a bit of a problem, but you gotta leave Rattel and Namu alone. Those are the last guys you need to take on now.
Sure.
All right, now it looks like we've kind of entered about the 10-minute mark. The Shadow Tyrants, the Shadow Variants are going to be spawning now. But with this slight lead, is this going to be enough for them to take over this game?
Well, I feel like 10 minutes mark is definitely going to be their pivot because enough equipment that we can see made for Siri. So they're like playing as a bodyguard around Siri right now. You can see that the position is quite decent and they try to guarantee that Siri will be put into a really comfortable setting.
Yeah, that's not easy to do when you're able to kind of, again, just create that spacing. You said it was like the bouncer, the security guard, and it did a really good job of, because OG could never find an angle to even contest. Very smartly played by Nongshim.
And if you are looking for a door opened by OG, I would say put Ehans under the spotlight because Guan Yu might be the only person can make that happen.
Yeah. But if he's able to find that perfect Razor Cavalry, they could completely shift this game into their favor, right?
Yes,
they have that chance. So it's a never say die attitude, assuming you're able to find that right angle. And now it looks like the Umbrella Outburst just on the side, completely whiffing, but they find Illusion. That's going to be picked up. 663, he's going to fall as well. And now DaoDao trying to focus it down. They find Rattel, who's got his secondary life, but he's been pushed onto the tower. He will survive as he flashes away, and here comes Haku. Off to the side they go. Ihans trying to go in, but he's going to sacrifice his own life. DaoDao not able to find it, and again, Siri survives.
Siri survived again, and he's definitely going to be the hero of Nongshim this time. I mean, like, everything just kind of seemed optimistic to OG because Illusion is a little bit harsh in that play. But the thing is that once OG came in, they feel like they got numbers in advantage, and then the target was Umbrosa. They didn't really pay attention to Siri. That's a problem for OG.
Definitely. And Riley pointed out because again, he's got that secondary life. So Rattel's like, actually, I'm doing my job. I'm tanking this. I had that secondary life, and it just played that one perfectly in the sense of just like absorbing all of that so that the rest of them can do that damage. Siri again staying alive with this.
True.
All right, now it looks like OG have to find a way to again find like an avenue back into this game. It seems like OG right now have their number.
And I feel like OG really need to, be more careful to Siri, and also Ehans need to be at the back.
Yes. Yeah, Ehans, it seemed like he was going in, but the fight had already happened. It's better when he's kind of coming in, sweeping them into your side, so you have a much easier chance of just like taking them all down.
True.
All right, now OG on this side. It looks like, again, they're still grouping up, looking for that angle. Nongshim not giving anything. Even Siri playing very aggressively up front.
And do you see the positioning of Rattel and Haku? They are trying to guarantee that each bush, there's no one ambushing in that place.
Smart. That's what you need to do. Because the only way you lose this game is if Ehans finds that angle. If he's able to flank you and push, again, everybody into your team, you've got a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, now this bottom T3, it looks like Siri, off to the side they go. Ahem is trying to deal with a wave, but DaoDao, I mean, he's tanky, but at what cost? The Invincible Warrior is going to be committed, but now he's going to look to just run off, but they find Illusion, who dove a little bit too deep. The bottom T3 gets taken down. Nongshim, I think, are going to be happy with that trade.
I feel like the way that how Nongshim is operating this game is that Illusion is kind of baiting OG. Like, he's sacrificing himself and trying to make sure that everyone just put all of their efforts onto Illusion and just waste all their skills onto Illusions. And, kind of just makes Siri to be very comfortable.
I mean, you see Illusion jumping in, getting onto that side. She is very squishy, so it's a very juicy target, if you will. So I understand OG's lineup, but I think right now you got to be like, okay, it doesn't matter about anyone else. The only thing that we need to do is find Siri in these team fights.
Exactly.
All right, and now it looks like if we're talking about damage, Neil on this Lorien, this is why we were talking about it in the pregame, in the draft. This Lorien is going to be a problem when you're able to do this much damage here. Tyrant getting takedown. He's a little bit low, but Haku gets the smite. It looks like he steals it away. And with that Umbrella Outburst, they've got a little bit of control. DaoDao is on the run as well as the rest of them, and they find 663. Rattel has been doing some serious work as they get the knock up on the DaoDao. Are they able to take down the Invincible Warrior? Yes, they are, as Rattel slices him down.
It's gonna be a killing spree, and Weekend's minions are actually on the way at the bottom, so I feel like Nongshim is ready to close out the game.
Yeah, they're looking to go, but they want to pad the stats. Ahem is just gonna stay alive, but they're gonna take the crystal, and Nongshim are gonna strike first. They're gonna take game number 1.
such a great game played by Nongshim. You can see like they are very patient, even they fell behind in the early game, but they're just wait for Siri to scale up and just play around Siri and just pushing the game into the end.
Yeah, it looked like a very favorable game for Nongshim, but in the end, it was like, find Siri. That's the only thing we need to do. It's like, where's Waldo? Where's Siri in this case? We take him down. We got ourselves a chance. Unfortunately, OG, we're not on the same page with that. And now it looks like looks like that's going to be it for game number 1, but let's send it right back to Isaac here.
Nongshim Red Force, it is actually done in here, taking that victory. It is going to be an amazing performance for them. OG Esports, on the other hand, they had the advantage at the beginning. They had a couple opportunities to turn the game in their way, but they were unable to actually take them right now.
Yeah, it was much of a stalemate in towards the early game where we see, like, I think at the 8-minute mark, there was like barely any kills and only one. And when it mattered the most, we see, yes, OG finding a good team fight. At the start of the team fight near the 8-minute mark, they got like 2. But then they overcommitted, and then they made a good trade into an unfavorable one, pushing it back to Nongshim Red Force favor here. And then, I like how both our casters mentioned here, if you don't get Siri, you don't get the game. Whereas Siri and Rattel, they were farming so well and being the main damage dealer of the team. Well, Illusion, he can just set up, make the play happen, set the crowd control down, and he can rest in peace. And other than that, Siri, Rattel, they did a fantastic job in this game number 1.
Yeah, he uses life to trade for the benefits of the side of Nongshim Red Force.
Yes.
And this is where, look, that rise in gold right from the 9-minute mark, this was a huge moment because Nongshim, I mean, like I said before at the start of the day, I feel like these two teams, regardless who wins, they're going to break my heart because I love both of these teams. The growth has been superb. But the way that Rattel played in this game is Umbrosa is a pain in their neck. He's so hard to kill already. He's overfarmed. He's pushing OG into the corner. And yes, Ahem comes out, gets a couple of surprise kills. But what good does that do when your main damage dealers cannot finish the job?
Nongshim Red Force came here, they took the lead at the 8-minute mark, and then all the way until 14. They pushed and pushed until they took the crystal. Right now we're gonna go to a little break, and then as we come back, it's going to be game 2 of this match between Nongshim Red Force and OG Esports.
कितने मैचेस बाकी हैं अभी? Let me check. ये मैच चल रहा है।
because of the games,
Match
but
चालू हो
because
गया,
of
match चालू हो
everything else that just comes into this competition.
Yes, and this is the one that has newly dropped the Heaven Beacon Princess Frost skin. I am a Princess Frost user. Okay, I'm gonna brag a little bit.
Oh,
46 in Asia.
46 is just pretty good.
That was the highest I could achieve.
That's still pretty
Once
good.
upon a time.
You leave that into old news. Okay, talking about this upcoming new news though, you can get it from July 30 to August 8, where you can bargain for a lowest price and then get it later on with tokens here. So remember to get it, check it in the in-game client here. But we are here again today for the second game coming in from OG Esports and Nongshim Red Force. And judging from game one, they're pretty neck and neck, but it comes down to the key moments where so far Nongshim Red Force has the clutch factor over OG.
I want to really highlight the fact that everything in here is high stakes, because whoever that loses here is gonna have to play tomorrow against the loser between Deep Cross Gaming and Blacklist International. You don't want to be on that match with no lives left.
Exactly. There is no more extra token down here. You don't get one more slot.
Yep.
You have to do it here. You have to do it now, and you have two chances to do it. Right. This first chance is the one that not only gives you the first benefit of winning, it also gives you a second life in the second part of the play-ins. You want to secure that chance. And look, the synergy between Nongshim Red Force players has
इतना
been,
down
this is
क्यों
a
दिख
fact,
रहे हो?
better than
कुछ
the
खा लो
OG
इस
synergy.
नहीं
We were
नहीं
talking about it last time, right? Where
मैं
OG
तो सही हूँ
Esports,
मैं
yes,
कहाँ down
a
हूँ
very
मैं
prestigious
कुछ
roster
काम कर रही थी वो
together here, but comparing
Multitasking.
experience to the side of our Nongshim Red Force side, this is the thing. Nongshim, they've proven to us like, okay, sometimes it's okay to start slow, and when they start slow, they are so good at actually packing that punch in going for those important games. Are we seeing it back in KIS4, and are we going to see it today against OG?
I am ready to see more, because they definitely need to bring, with the guns blazing at this point. They need to step up. OG needs to be here.
Nongshim Red Force has been on the grind non-stop in different tournaments this whole year, and it's really showing right now. Like the way that they have been playing, it is up until right now one of the better teams of today. What do you think, Nora?
I think definitely, yeah, they are playing very good, and also, as we said, they are playing in such a patient way. They're not in rush.
Very solid. And I think that they've grown up quite a bit. I think that we're seeing the next level of Nongshim.
अभी ये team
yes,
का
they've
match
done
चल रहा
very
है
well
क्या
in terms
नाम
of
है
these
इनका
internationals, but seeing them now, especially from the Asian
NS
Games
versus
qualifier to
OG.
now, I think we're seeing them even rise
तो
even
अभी और
much
कितने
higher.
मैच बाकी है इसके
Exactly.
बाद
And also we mentioned
उसके
about
बाद
the
एक और मैच
differences
होगा फिर
between
एक और मैच होगा फिर एक और
the
मैच
rows.
होगा
About their lineup compared to last year when they competed in this EWC. And to Nongshim, actually they keep the same jungler, mid laner, and also the marksman. And you can see like they are doing very well in the first game. But as for OG, there's only Dao Dao that hasn't changed. So it might cause a little bit problem onto that.
So that was why there was a little bit of a surprise, if you will, because Dao Dao was that guy, and then the rest of them just found that groove. And then that's what they beat. They overcome Visaka, Kagendra, all of these different teams that you were kind of thinking they had the edge over OG.
True.
And so OG was surprised, and the fact that they snuck in as that third and final slot, that was a huge surprise there.
And also because of they came from actually different teams, so they brought different understanding towards the patch.
आज तो की खत्म ही हो जाएगा stream करते करते
maybe they should, just came up with a more easier composition to execute. For example, just build up a composition around their marksman Aham, or pick some assassins.
Okay, well, it looks like they're going to go with the Florentino. This is going to make things incredibly interesting to go into this one. It looks like the AOV heroes have kind of shined thus far in the entire day today. And picking that one first, I think it's like OG or like, hey, backs on the wall, we're down 0-1. Let's pick this one out and really take it to them.
And I always like to see Florentino be played by those players, because Florentino can be so good in game if you can do it well.
Yeah, and it looks like the other side, the answer to this one is they're going to go with the Devara, also a new hero, and as well as the Haya. So this is going to be very interesting. Let's put it into the Mirage. Let's isolate and kind of divide and conquer, if you will.
Yes, and just cut Florentino off of this team fight. And that's the reason why actually OG is respond this Haya with this Agudo pick, because Agudo's ulti can actually just trigger it out of Haya's ulti, it can just drag out of the distance down by Haya. So it's kind of, it can be a very decent counter pick towards this Haya.
Yep. Okay. And yeah, just setting it up, right? You know that he's tanky enough to survive. He can
ये
also
फिर
like
से वो
anything
hero
that, like,
pick
when
हुआ
they
है
come out of the Moonscape
जो
Mirage, then you
hero
have that wild growth, and of
early
course
के
the
दो
Lapu
match
Lapu
में
with
pick
that
हुआ
Raging
था
Sea, they're gonna like look to line that one up. So again, if anything, you know,
Let's see
Illusion
कैसा
has to
होता है
burst that
match
hero down potentially.
Yes, and the point is how you're gonna play against a Haya pick is that you need to make sure that you can guarantee the space out of Haya's ulti
देखते
because
हैं
there's only 8 seconds for Haya to use his ulti to block Florentino away. So this Lapu Lapu is kind of saying that OG is trying to initiate the team fight after Haya
BC
used up
penalty लग गई
her
किसी
ulti.
ने तो
And I mean,
लाने
this
गया
draft thus far from OG, the Florentino, the Agudo, and the
लाने
Lapu
गया
Lapu,
साबुन
really,
लगा
I mean,
कर
it's
रखा
very
था
well rounded. It has a
So
lot of
Sky,
answers
hi,
for the first
welcome
two
to the
picks.
stream.
If you're
Long
looking
time,
at the
how are
Notion
you?
side, Coach YK
What
is
time
just like,
बाद
okay,
दिख रहे हो
this
मेरे
is a pickle,
duo
right?
caster?
They have a lot of answers, but like, what is that final pick in that
Lapu
first phase
Lapu
that you would
picked
feel
by
comfortable with
OG.
here for
Well,
Notion?
I would definitely go for Zhangfei pick, but
कैसे हो
since
Soul
this is a
Sky?
global pen pick, so they already used that
कौन
up,
सा ये
so
third
it's gonna
number
be a little
वाला?
bit difficult
नहीं
for,
second वाला जो है ना
Nongxin,
जो
what
बहुत cute
is
सा
going
दिखता
to
है
be
यार
their support. It's going to
वो
be such a great question because they need to make sure that they can contest Lapu Lapu outside of this highest outing.
Yeah, so for me, I always look at the triumvirate
Good,
of
good.
the
What about it?
Zhangfei,
I'm
Lapu
also
Lapu, and the
good.
Lianpo, 'cause
अभी
they're
recent
generally
वाला
the same
कर रहे हो
or similar in terms
casting
of playstyle of like
चल
that
रहा है
big
अभी
team
एक
fight,
True.
right, when the things are happening.
या मेरे को
So I
मौका ही
always
नहीं
look
मिलता
at, okay, the
casting
Lianpo
का
definitely
टाइम
a
नहीं सेट हो
potential,
रहा
but
look this
they
one
could
hero
go- it looks like
इतना
they're gonna go
cute
with
है
the
ये
idea, so we'll
cute
continue-
cute
we'll
hero
finish on
cute
that
hero
discussion.
I feel like
I
the
like
idea
this hero,
maybe
cutie
will
pie.
be a Kaiser paired up as a jungler on the side of Anas, Nongxin, because they need kind of like a front laner of this composition because it's a little bit squishy to me right now so far.
Yeah, that is definitely a problem here. I mean, if you're looking at the other end, this OG lineup, they're going to shore it up. They're going to go the Floorborn Marksman, Da Chao. You have a lot more control. But are there too many eggs in one basket, or is the Florentino and the the Floorborn Marksman enough damage here?
कौन सा कहाँ
I
किधर
think like
नहीं
the
पता
damage is definitely enough,
Cute तो आप भी
but
दिखते
well, the gold be enough because
Thank
like
you.
there's too many cores in this composition. Like Agudo need time to scale up Florentino, and so does Floorborn Marksman and also Xiao Chao. So how you're gonna allocate your gold is gonna be the biggest question to OG this time.
100%.
बताऊंगी
Too many mouths to
नहीं
feed,
पता मैं
right?
बताती हूँ
That's
करती
definitely a
हूँ
problem here.
What's up?
But it's like somebody has to sacrifice, right? So I think that going into this one, when you have heroes that are very greedy and hungry and all of that, you have
cute
to
hero.
make sacrifices. So how would you prioritize? Like, who is that one guy that you're like, okay, he needs to get farm, everyone else less so?
Well, I mean, like to this patch, mid lane is always gonna be the one who's gonna sacrifice. And Xiao Chao, I guess they are trying to use the skill too.
Wow,
of
look,
Nil
look, this
and
one,
trying
this
to,
one,
get
cute
some
hero,
control
cute hero.
of Nongxin, and she may
बड़ा
just
cute
give
है.
a lot of money
Alright,
to
happy
Florentino
soon.
and
Thank
Floorborn
you.
Marksman.
Yeah, to be honest, I agree with you 100%. I do think that those are the two main heroes that we're looking at. But if we're looking at the Nongxin side, who can be greedy? Who's going to be prioritized then?
Well, Haya is definitely going to be the shot caller of this game. So Nongxin, they need to make sure that Illusion this time won't lose the efficiency of the mid lane. I mean, like Haku need to go to the mid lane faster than Dao Dao this time.
Okay.
To prioritize Illusion's rotation.
Got it. So it looks like, I mean, Nongxin have the advantage thus far, going in 1-0 in terms of the series. But in terms of draft, is this enough, or is OG, like, are you giving them the edge? Like, who do you like here?
Well, I feel like this time it might be 50-50, but this time it's going to be a very slow game because both teams need to scale up and they won't fight till at least higher upgrade to
भाई ये
level 4.
support बहुत खतरनाक है
Yeah, definitely. That 4-minute mark, right? That Moonscape
Yes.
Mirage, it will change pretty much everything
ये
in
support
terms of
बहुत
how
मस्त
this
है.
game will play out. But yeah, I do agree 100% on this one because they like that Illusion. They want to set up their entire team fight. Their entire game revolves around Illusion's play.
Exactly, and I feel like that's kind of a little bit change to Nongxin's playstyle because
अब
last
light
game in game
चली
one,
गई.
we see like how they're
कौन
operating
है
the game,
पनौती?
right? They're
Look at
playing
yourself
a
in
ground
mirror.
series
Maybe
to
you
pushing
are.
forward, like pretty like a
तभी ये सारी
marksman
चीजें
core
आपके साथ हो
playstyle.
रही है.
But this time they're picking like 2 warriors, so a lot of melee fight can be seen on the side of Nongxin. So
Yeah,
I
this
feel like
hero
this
is so
time they
cute.
are trying to play the game in a more aggressive way.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that the Nongshim style, when they're aggressive, that is the way they should be playing, right? Because they are better when they're able to do that. But OG on the other side, if we're looking at kind of, you know, Dao, we expect him to kind of play the assassin style. It seems like they've kind of changed things up. I don't know if this is the best hero for Dao.
यार अब तो मैं भी खेलना पड़ेगा एक
very
hero.
flexible or versatile in this patch, and actually you can treat this Argudo as a marksman if he got enough money.
True.
So this time actually OG need to make sure that they can launch enough poking damage upon Nongxing's players, because we said like a lot of melee fight can be seen on the side of Nongxing. So I think like OG this time they need to play in a more safe style.
Okay. And for me, I mean, to kind of carry on with that, I think that the Dao is, it's enough, right? And I think that also when you have Ehans potentially on this Florentino, really kind of setting things up, I think that would, you know, really just kind of change this game, because, you know, the Florentino, everybody's kind of like, oh, how is this hero going to do, especially in this game?
Especially like Florentino can always showcase if you can pilot it well.
Yeah. All right, but here, of
Wow,
course,
ये
Crown the
कितना
Pit,
अच्छा है.
like going into this one, OG and Nongshim, to see exactly which of those gods is going to take the
OG.
Overlord. I like it how they've kind of added some in-game, you know, interfaces to kind of, you know, accentuate some of these games. Because again, both of these squads, we knew that this is probably one of the more competitive series going into today.
Exactly, and they already got several titles in their own region. So Nongxin is actually the runner-up from KML, and OG is the third place of IKL Spring 2026.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're not the top dog in their region, but that's why they're in the play-ins. But I do think that when we're talking about the international, like Dao is always a staple. The Nongshim side, generally speaking, you'll always see them as well. So both of these squads understanding what is at stake, continuing on in the play-ins, never easy, as again, you lose twice, you're out, man.
And also speak to the players. Actually, Haku and Dao, they can be like rivals for such a long time, because last time they played against each other in EWC.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of history. There's going to be familiarity, but I think that, you know, going in, especially with the OG lineup, are kind of from all over. The Avengers, if you will, in terms of how they kind of formulated this team. Very different story, but they have a little bit of the stun. Dao gets that smite onto the Tyrants, and now with the Raging Sea, they have a little bit of control onto Haku, who's trying to bounce it in. He's going to give up first blood. Dao finding him out.
I do like the way how OG is designing this team fight, because we can see Florentino is under such a great pressure, because he was like a 1-2. So OG, instead of trying to rescue Ehans, they just make some trade happen.
Oh, but Siri going all in,
आपको क्या
goes
लगता है
all
कौन सी
in for
team
Neil.
जीतेगी?
He sacrifices his life. I don't know if that was the greatest
I
trade,
think
but at least
OG
he got something on the way out.
I feel like he's saying like,
OG
if
पे
you're
बहुत
looking for a
अच्छे
trade, I'm
heroes
gonna
हैं.
go for the trade.
Yeah, but I mean, diving into 4, probably not the smartest thing. For me, I'm looking to survive.
OG पे अच्छे draft pick
true.
है.
But like, because of the sacrifice that Siri made, it's kind of like even up the pace of the game right now. But OG, because of the tier 1 tower that they already got, so I think like the pushing space, the pushing pace might be a little bit accelerated from now on.
And this is actually what happened in the top lane. The Moves Game Mirage, that's the biggest problem, right? And then the fact that like there was a whole other fight elsewhere, but then like
This mage is
like, I'm stuck in
OP.
with you, can't go in, and then you come on out of this one, and you have reinforcements there from the Nongshim side, and it's like it's not even fair.
Yes, and before that skirmishes happened on the top, actually the detail from the minimap is that Florentino, I mean like Ehans already seen that illusion was there for him, so actually he took one step back and telling his team member that you can do the dragon trade, and that's a communication behind the movement that they did.
Yes, and now Nongshim capitalizing on that extra space. They have even more members, taking over the enemy jungle, zoned away, taking the top T2. Nongshim right now, this is the way you want to play, especially when you have a little bit of a lead.
Especially when you got higher in your composition. You can always initiate as you wish.
Of course, as well. And now Haku, onto the side they go, and here he finds it. But it looks like Haku, again, not fully committing, which is probably the smarter play in the end.
Exactly. He's trying to poke in a lot of damage towards Nongshins.
Yep,
and also, like, you can see the positioning of Dao. They are trying to guarantee the priority of the mid lane, because they are kind of afraid of Illusion's Haya right now, because you can see, like, Haya is hiding his vision. Like, on the side of OG, they don't know where Illusion is.
Yeah, they don't know. And that's a problem, right? He's like the boogeyman, right? He comes out of the corner, you don't know where he is, and all of a sudden you're in like purgatory into his mirage, if you will. So again, OG understanding that, hey, they need 663. He needs to be that forward scout, so nobody gets jumped.
Exactly.
And now it looks like Nongshim back to the jungle they go. They still have the top T1. So in terms of like spacing, they're still fine. But OG, I like the way that they're responding. Understanding that they have Agudo on this DAO. This is added further pressure. But they actually find Namu, who's playing with fire. He gets caught out. He gets burnt, if you will. The ghost ship is not enough to keep Illusion alive as well. OG finding some pickoffs.
OG is kind of trying to accelerate the game pace because they know that DAO is farmed up so well. So everyone is just pushing forward around this DAO.
Yeah, and no chance. I mean, I think it started with Namu getting a little bit out of position, thinking that he was safe with that heart link. But when you're bursted, you're a very squishy roamer, right?
Exactly. And you mentioned about the shortage of Nongshim because of the idea need someone to pick her up, right? And what the position that Namu was is that he's so far away from neither Arta or Haya.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why the Didea is such a great hero, right? It adds all that mobility, plus you can kind of backpack on a teammate like you were talking about. So you have a lot in terms of what she could potentially bring. But now with this 4-2 kill score, it looks like OG have gotten a slight edge. I mean, in terms at least of momentum in this game.
Yes, but actually, if we scrutinize the goal difference, you can see like Retail is winning the upper hand towards Ehans. So while Retail used this goal lead to save his team in this mid-game.
Yeah, and it looks like the team fight. We'll find out shortly. The Aerostorm is not really able to connect onto any members of Nongshim here, but they're spacing it out because they know that the Tyrant is going to be started. It looks like Illusion has that Moonscape Mirage, at least for now, locking in. It looks like it's Ihounds here. They come out right back onto this one, and it looks like Siri getting a little bit low, needs to be careful, but Namu's off to the side. The Tyrant is going to be started. Siri, though, I think with this HP bar, I don't think he can contest.
And also, that's the reason why we mentioned about the Level Up, who will be the pick for OG, because they are waiting for the team fight after Illusion break out his ulti. They're not looking for skirmishes beforehand, but afterhand.
Yeah, that counter pick has been incredible for them, right? Being able to kind of mitigate, understanding that they're going to be right outside of this one, and even being contested here, DAO with that Smite Steal.
Exactly. They're trying to put their battlefield outside of Haya's ulti.
Yes. That would be very helpful for them, right? And I think Nongshim, like, you have a huge power pick. The Haya, I mean, at the end of the day, I think even in an ultimate battle, if we ever get there, Illusion will probably be looking for that Haya or the Mai. I think that he's kind of leaned more towards the Haya as of late.
Sure.
All right, and now OG here on this one. It looks like net worth. We're in a 50-50 game. This is the most competitive game we've seen thus far. Can OG find a way to, again, get on top of Illusion, take down Siri in some fashion?
Well, I feel like they can do the spot push first, but they need to make sure that they want the team fight won't initiate by Haya without this Agudo.
Okay, and now using that Agudo, as you're talking about, with that Wild Growth, taking the bottom T2, Nongshim have no answers, but they have the Moonscape Mirage. They at least caught a Predator, and if it comes right back out, are they able to blow him up? I don't think he survives. As they do, they're just going to sacrifice him, understanding that, hey, Ihans, sorry, brother, you're done.
Sacrifice it is, but the problem is we are heading to 10 minutes mark, and without Florentino being survived, it's going to be Nongshim's time to turn the table around, maybe.
Yeah, it's a huge power play. This is a golden opportunity, but DAO still has that smite, right? So Nongshim, if they want to fully contest this, they probably need to control DAO before they go in. The Tyrant is going to be leashed back in.
And we are talking about Arta's ulti. Well, he get nice control upon this Agudo will be the thing to do.
Yeah, the spacing has got to be unreal. Furball goes right back in. The Tyrant is in the mix of all of this. They have a little bit of control onto Ratel, but Siri gets the Tyrant. A nice 3-man with that Raging Sea, and now they're looking to go for the turnaround, and it looks like OG, yeah, they had a nice stun, but they're not able to find a pickoff.
Yeah, I mean, like, nice control on the side of OG, but the problem is that they got numbers in deficit, and that, I would go the credit to Illusion because of his initiation before the team fight happened, make them outnumbered and let this team fight goes favor to themselves.
Yeah, it started with that, right?
Yes.
And I think that was, I mean, it was very bold, I would say, of OG when you were down a member trying to fight 4 versus 5 into the Tyrant pit. But they thought that, hey, we could just smite it out. But the way that they were able to navigate that, very smartly played by Nongshim as they looked to go for the initiation. The Ghost Ship locking in, just barely 663, squeezes out of that hole. And now it looks like Nongshim back to the Overlord. This is probably the next big thing. They have Primal Bond. They're not going to fully commit here.
And also the top side of the map, we mentioned about a goal difference between the top laners. So actually they... Oh!
Illusion, they actually made him pay. And now he actually expended his flash as well. He's not able to survive, but they want to continue this fight. Neil with that goal and tries to stay alive, but a Hem gets picked off. Neil will as well. And Nongshim off the backside, taking them all down. Dao is like, Autobots, roll out. Let's look for survival as he drops the Wild Grove. But Haku, it's like a personal vendetta, if you will. He will chase down Dao to the end. That's a teammate.
And I mean, the top lane, I feel like they're trying to close out the game, but the mean is not that for them.
All right, MVP tower, okay. Rattel, a little bit of a miscalculation there, but I think in the end, Nongshim will still finish this game out as they do have the minion wave off of that ace, and they will take the game number 2 and the series here. Really well played by Nongshim.
And I feel like it's kind of like an ace game after that team fight happened. You can see like the resilience from on the side of Nongshim. They are trying to make a lot of things happen, even though they stuck in the mid game. And because of the illusion, again, he's gonna be the wisest mind of Nongshim, I would say.
That's why it comes back to that drafting. Nongshim will always focus on illusion because you're able to make plays like that. Incredibly smart by Coach YK, setting themselves up for success. A nice 2-0 there. But let's see what the analysts have to say. Isaac, back to you.
This was the
I think I
closest
should
match
end my
that we have
stream
had in the whole
because we
thing.
have
It was
completed.
stalemate all the way
कितने
up to the
completed
12th
stream
minute.
का?
But then
Let me
in
check.
one fight,
We
one little
completed
mistake,
almost
Nongshim
3
Red
hours
Force
stream.
comes in,
So
pushes
let's
the
go.
way through,
Let's
and they make
end.
it all the way to the crystal. A
Look
2-0
ahead.
victory for Nongshim Red Force. They're going to be moving into the upper bracket final.
I think if we were to break down that game just now, right? There's 2
Done.
star players coming in from Nongshim Red Force. Yes, they played extremely well as a team, but the clutch factor coming in from Rattel and Siri in back-to-back games was just marvelous.
So yeah guys, मिलते हैं आप सभी से हम
कल की लाइव स्ट्रीम में। तब तक के लिए do like, share, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye bye, good night, sweet dreams. शाम हो रही है, sweet dreams बोल रहे हो ना। Good evening guys, मिलते हैं आप सभी से हम कल की लाइव स्ट्रीम में। तब तक के लिए do like, share, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye bye. Good evening. Take care. Love you all. Bye.